What up, what up, what up, New York Giant Nation and sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, coming in with my man, Adam Costas. And our other co-host, Zion Zenith, is running a little bit late. So we'll
As
see what
usual.
time he gets in. But we are bringing you episode 8 of the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go.
Woo!
So today, man, Adam, how you feeling today, first of all, man?
I am good, Mac. How are you? It is a beautiful sunny day over where I live. And what else could be on but Daytona 500?
Well, yeah, I'm just chilling myself, man. It's a little brisk down here today, man. Out here today, a little brisk. But I'm in the house chilling, watching a little 2.5 Men. That's just one of my old go-tos. But now
Man,
we're here bringing
USFL.
y'all them premium takes.
Yep, that's what we're doing today, this Sunday. Stick with us for a couple hours of your day to enjoy some talk, some sports talk. So we're gonna hit all points today. Mac, what do we got first?
Up first today, we gonna just cover the elimination chamber from yesterday. Some results and some of the fallout from the elimination chamber, man. Adam, what's your thoughts on that yesterday?
First off, WWE, what are you doing to us? 12 o'clock in the afternoon for a pay-per-view? What is wrong with you? I understand, but, block that stuff out from the network and show it at 8 o'clock and tell it's a replay. Because, man, I got stuff to do at 12 o'clock. I can't just be sitting around watching wrestling all day. But, no, I got a chance to watch it, and it was boring, as usual. Nothing surprising happened, except for Bobby Lashley going out with a concussion protocol. I mean, come on, Vincent, man, what are you doing here with me? Either A, it really happened, B, or we're playing the kayfabe game. But if you really wanted Brock Lesnar to win, why didn't you just let him win the title at the Royal Rumble? Why did you have to waste the Royal Rumble to then have him come back in the Elimination Chamber like 3 weeks later to then win the title again? I don't understand it. And as for the rest of the matches, the women's match, okay, I get it. Lita wasn't going anywhere, but I mean, these to me, I get you're going to Saudi Arabia, but Lita to me is headline worthy of WrestleMania. So if you're really going to do something with her, do something with her. Don't just make this a one-off. I mean, let's be honest, Mac. Did you really think Goldberg was coming in and taking the title?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was just for the Saudi Arabian crowd. That was all that was for.
But what I'm saying, like, he didn't win. He lost. I could have told you that. I could have just said, all right, don't even need to show up.
Look,
if you're gonna bring back, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Because me, I just thought it was, I like Road to WrestleMania, so I watch all the pay-per-views, so I'm not lost when I get there. But man, WWE, I'm about to start AEW all the way, man.
Look, obviously my first thoughts on it is I never want to see Goldberg in the ring again. I'm over that. Let's forget about it. Long in the past. Keep him.
You don't want the geriatric patient on in the ring anymore.
I don't even know why guys want to keep getting in the ring with him. I mean, he didn't have any big botches or anything yesterday.
But he can only do a 30-second match.
But at the same time, I don't know why guys even want to keep climbing in the ring with him. He's dangerous. He cannot perform. He literally has 2 moves in his arsenal. I said that on my stream yesterday. Goldberg has 2 moves in his arsenal. He's going to do them repetitively. I mean, he's going to keep spearing you as many times as possible. I don't know.
I mean, the guy's in his 50s. It's like, okay, great. You do endorsement deals. Good job. Do something like Stone Cold, like the Broken Skull sessions. I happen to love those. With Stone Cold Steve Austin. Do something different. But it's like, go. And he's like, I've got one last run in me. You're next. I'm like, yeah, you're next on the unemployment line because your old ass is out of here. You get your one-off, your check, and you're out. I mean, geez, do me and all the rest of the WWE fans a favor. Don't come back anymore. I'm just sick of it. This guy comes back and steals the thunder of all these guys. Why? Because Vince McMahon wants to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia, that you don't like anybody else, right, on the roster. But geez, man, why waste my time with Roman Reigns? I mean, the guy, here's my problem with Roman Reigns. First off, his teeth are too damn white. I'm like, man, you went from having no teeth, because I watched a promo of him in like 2014 when he was like, thanks, guys. I'm coming back, and he was doing this speech from coming back from being on a hiatus, and you're like, oh man, look at his teeth. Then he comes back and he's like, acknowledge me. I'm like, dude, acknowledge this. Acknowledge my foot changing the channel, because this is some bull crap. You are one of the strongest dudes in the WWE, and you have two goons helping you out every week. Give me a break. And then on top of that, we have you fighting Goldberg. What a waste. And now it's going to be champion versus champion at WrestleMania. And I'm just like, what are you doing? What is the end game here for? Oh, he bought new teeth, Philly B. He bought new teeth. What's the end game here? Are you unifying the titles? Are you unifying them? Because to me, it's like, why did you waste my time with Brock Lesnar winning the title at day one? Okay, only to lose the title at Royal Rumble, only to get it back again 3 weeks later, to then be like, oh, champions versus champions match. I mean, come on, you could have done that already. We already knew that. He interfered in the match. You didn't even need to do it. Oh, you already had a storyline picked out, and what do? You waste time. So now there is no match for any of the titles, right? It's not a contender. It's not, it's not Brock Lesnar versus Edge or Roman Reigns versus somebody else. The two idiots are fighting off against each other. What's the card? Who are you going to put on the card? What's this WrestleMania going to be? Because you have no marquee matches. What, am I going to watch all the women's matches? I mean, my God, we still don't have a storyline for that. WWE, you're killing it, man. You need these next, I guess, 6.5 weeks to get your shit together, because I want a good WrestleMania. It's gonna, it's WrestleMania 38. You're putting Undertaker in the Hall of Fame. You need a good WrestleMania for that guy. What he's done and carried the company, and you're gonna have this crap? Give me a break. I'm sorry.
Well, let me get to some people in the chat real quick, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in right now. My main man, Philly B. What's going on? His squad, Miz,
What's up, guys?
Logan, Big Play, Slay. And thanks a lot, Slay, man. I appreciate the love, man. Appreciate it,
Big
man.
Play, Slay. That's right. Congrats to my man, Mac, the Giants fan, for getting those 19,000 WWE Universe viewers and other people as well. But congrats, Big Mac.
Appreciate it, man. But as far as I'm concerned with the WWE too, man, give me something different, man. I'm tired of the same stale product. Like this Brock Lesnar thing, man, yesterday in the Elimination Chamber. I know the Saudi Arabian crowd, that's their big headliner. That's who they want to see. They want to see him kick ass. I get it. But to just go in there and absolutely just squash everybody in the match. And the whole Bobby Lashley thing, okay, I found it's been reports coming out that he had some kind of shoulder injury. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. He's going to miss WrestleMania and everything. And so that whole thing was obviously a big.
Yeah, but you couldn't give it to somebody different, because we already know you were coming after Roman Reigns. Like, why make it champion versus champion? It doesn't do anything for me.
The champion versus champion doesn't make sense because you're a split brand. You have Raw and SmackDown are basically two separate brands within the same company, but they're two separate brands. Right. So now you're going to unify the title. So now the champion just bounces back and forth to each show and whatever, or is everything just going to be?
I'm fine with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but at the same time, I don't even want the separatism, because they don't do it in a good enough way anyway. Right. So just keep everybody just wrestling on everything. You know what I mean? It's just a joke to me, man. So the way they handle the things, it's just ridiculous, and I'm tired of seeing the same thing, man. I don't want to see Randy Orton win the title again necessarily. I'm tired of seeing Charlotte Flair win the women's championship or be the women's champion. Like, there are other females
come up with something
on
new.
The roster. I was talking about it on the stream yesterday about Naomi, for instance. Now, she's been a champion before. She's been a champion before, but it's been like about 4 years. It's been about 4 years since the last time she's had a run. And the reality is, she is probably, I think you can make a case that she is the most freakishly athletic female on the roster. I mean, she can do things basically that none of these other chicks can do in the ring. I'm not saying she's the best female wrestler on the roster, but she's the most athletic, I believe, and she can do special things in the ring. Why did she not get another chance? Natalya, look how long Natalya's been in here just holding it down in the women's division. I feel like it's disrespectful, her treatment. She has to just get everybody over. Why does everybody have to get over at Natalya's expense?
I know.
But yet Charlotte is just going to be champion for the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever many times, then I'm not sure whenever Bailey's going to come back, but she'll come back and probably get thrusted right back into the top of the women's division as well, as if nobody else has been there busting their ass for the last however long that she's been out. Every time Sasha Banks is out and comes back in, she gets thrusted back to the top. I mean, it's just with the WWE, it's just too much of the same old, man. I could be writing for their creative team and provide a much better show. I guarantee you, every week. What's going on, Reek?
But I guarantee you. I guarantee you that as well. Martin Truex Jr., my driver in NASCAR, is 7th right now, stage 1. Just to let you guys know, I'm a bit of a NASCAR fan. Truex Jr. is from my home state, so I represent him whenever he's in the big races. But yeah, getting back to WWE, man, it's just like it's Roman Reigns has had the title for 500 something days or whatever they're saying. That's almost 2 years, over 2 years. Like do something else. Give me that's like when back in the day when they had no other champion, they used to put the belt on Triple H for like months, years at a time. You're like, is anybody going to win? What's the point of having other storylines? Like, we might as well just have WWE where it's just Brock Lesnar beating up people the entire 3-hour show because no one else can beat these guys. And now, how do you sway this left or right? Because guess what? Who's the bigger star, Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns? I would probably say it would be Brock Lesnar. So if I'm putting the title on somebody, I'm putting both belts on Brock Lesnar. Because guess what? Paul Heyman's the factor in here. He's going to have the Usos. I guarantee you it's going to be like a no-holds-barred match or something crazy that they're going to do. They're going to make it one of those matches where, they can have the Usos interfere, Paul Heyman be an idiot. You know what I mean? And what's good, Reek? And, all that nonsense that they do. I mean, to me, it's just I watch it because I'm addicted to the stupidity of the show. And sometimes there are good surprises. I find myself fast forwarding most of the matches and listening to the talk because when they're on the mic, you kind of get a better clarity of where they're going, right? The matches are like, oh yeah, boring. We already know who's going to win, except for like something like Damian Priest. Like I look at all the champions, right? Damian Priest, he's got the build to be a good champion, but where they don't use him. You got Shinsuke Nakamura, one of my favorites, and he loses to Sami freaking Zayn. Are you kidding me? That guy's the garbage dumpster of wrestlers. A Kahlua kick. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Logan, I am truly addicted to the stupidity of the show. It is so dumb.
Let me ask you this about one more thing about Elimination Chamber that bothered me. What's going on, Tudo? Thanks for stopping.
Tudo, what's up, man?
But one more thing that killed me about the Elimination Chamber yesterday, the Usos, man. That match that was supposed to happen, the tag team title match, that didn't happen. As we all saw, they came out and just squashed the Viking Raiders before the bell, and they had to scrap the match. So how do you feel about that?
It sucks because they're making this team the best tag team ever, and I get where their angle's going. But the Viking Raiders are something that in the 80s, 90s would have been great champions with the Legion of Doom and all these guys and the Nasty Boys and the Dudleys and all that. And now you're squashing them because of what? Because of the guys who used to dress up with face paint, and now they're in the Uso Penitentiary. Give me a break, man. Like, the gimmick is old. I'm tired of them. I like the New Day, but they even win too much. Give these guys a chance. I think the tag team division is overlooked in WWE. It's where you got stars. I mean, look at HBK. HBK was played for the Rockers. Excuse me. Was part of the Rockers team. Without him turning on Marty Jannetty, you don't have any HBK. Right?
Absolutely.
Without
not.
Jeff Hardy going off and being his own man, you don't have, that career. Edge and Christian. I mean, these are tag teams. I don't even talk about the Legion of Doom, the guys that never broke up and stuff, but the Brothers of Destruction, we had good tag teams, and not just like, oh, great. Like the Viking Raiders, they're supposed to be these big dudes that get beat up in 3 seconds before the match. Like, what is that? How are they supposed to be Vikings? Vikings are supposed to be pillaging and murdering and stomping on faces, and you get beat down by a couple Samoans from a penitentiary? Give me a break. Give me a break.
Yeah, I don't really understand the direction of WWE right now, but like I said, I think it's what you just said. They're just too corporate, man. Everything is too corporate with this company. Like, got the show on SmackDown on Fox. Everything is just way too. Vince McMahon, I feel like he's just a bazillionaire who doesn't care because he knows his money can pretty much buy his ass out of anything he needs to take care of. But you want to have any more final thoughts on the WWE Elimination Chamber? We can get
Yeah,
ready to.
stop sucking.
I
Those are
agree.
my words. Final words. Stop sucking. Because
Well, the,
I hate to say this, but we know that we're going to watch anyways because the road to WrestleMania. I haven't missed a WrestleMania in years, right? And you know that there's going to be surprises. That's what the best part about that is. But I know that people are, wanting to move on from this. You're seeming to want to move on from it. But let's keep it on to the next topic. By the way, the Great American Race is on Daytona 500. It is on and popping. Martin Truex Jr. Let's get a top 10 finish here, baby.
what's up, Chris Bucco in the chat? Thanks for
Bucco!
stopping in, man. But we can, yeah, it can move on from the Elimination Chamber because it was really, like you just, I think you said it best when we were on the phone yesterday. Glorified house show, man. That's all it really is.
Yeah, it really is. That's supposed to be one of the pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania, and they
We can
botched
go
it.
from one shit show
To another,
right to another.
or just in the toilet to start today, huh?
As we go to NBA All-Star Weekend, NBA Saturday Night, it's a very diminished product in my opinion, man, Adam. And I'll let you, take it away. What you
Okay.
got
Well,
on
first off, the 3-point contest. I didn't watch the skills competition because I don't care. Nobody cares about skills in a competition. You have skills, you're in the NBA. We already know that. Thanks. Next, the 3-point contest is insane. How the 3-point contest outshined the dunk contest, I'll never know. Oh, I know why. Because of what is happening in the dunk contest. We will get into that for later. But my hats are off to Karl Anthony Towns for showing up and showing out, as they say, as the kids say these days, showing up and showing out. At the 3-point contest, I did not pick him to win. And first it was you saw a lot of tightness with these players coming out. Trae Young didn't barely qualify to go barely. I mean, I'm saying barely qualified, like 22 points. I can score 22 points in an NBA game, but you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. The difference in shooting, but I liked certain elements. But now there's so many rules. Before, when I was growing up, and probably when you were growing up, you had 5 racks and your 5 money balls. Now you got 5 racks plus 2 Mountain Dew balls and a rack full of 2-point balls, right? So now all of a sudden it's like, what is happening? They're like, oh, they're going here. He's in the rhythm. Oh, it's a money ball, and it's just like, give me a break. Although it did allow for more fun with the big shots with the Mountain Dew balls.
Mountain Dew balls.
Right, Mountain Dew balls sound so inappropriate, but that kept him in the game, and I thought that was fun. But Karl Anthony Towns winning was kind of interesting because you don't see too many big men of his stature doing it. And his shot was like pretty set. It was not like pretty. It just kind of went off his wrist. He barely got off the ground, and it was like swish, swish, swish. And you're like, oh, okay. So I can't complain about this. But the dunk contest, Mac, I will tell you this right now. Obi Toppin Kenobi. Just kidding, everyone. It's Obi Toppin as champion. If you didn't watch, I just spoiled it for you. Too bad you didn't miss much. And I think what the problem was is that they get too many chances at these dunks, right? And they don't practice them anymore. Remember, back in the day, Dr. J and Jordan and, Dominique and all these guys, they would take some time out in the gym before they got to the All-Star game and practice their dunks so they didn't look like idiots when they're out there. So I'm sitting there watching this dunk contest, and they're getting you all hyped because they're showing you all these ex-dunk contests. You got Vince Carter putting a hand in the rim, doing the under the leg, like, well, over. Kenny the Jet Smith going, it's over, right? And while I'm sitting here watching the dunk contest, all nestled in my seat with my snack in hand, which is probably a large bowl of ice cream, which was great, watching with basketballs, ice cream. I guess it was after dinner. But anyways, the point was, I'm watching this, and some of these guys had some solid dunks, but it was just like, yeah, this is attempt number 15, like, great. We've already, the excitement's already gone. We're bored already. So I don't know what they're going to do next year, but man, these guys have got to give them some time to practice these dunks and get with people who are like, they're pulling dudes off in the crowd, not wearing any athletic gear to throw a ball up in the air for them for their, layups and crap. I'm like, dude, get somebody that you've been with, that you brought down there, maybe a teammate that throws you lobs in practice. No, you bring some dude off the street with his camera out, and it's like, Obi Toppin was cool. Good for the New York teams to win. His one dunk that I thought was impressive that he tried to do at the beginning, but the dunk that won him the contest was insane, and people should have jumped out the gym. But the one where he hits off the backboard and then dunks it again, I don't people realize how hard that is to do. Like, it was like, remember Gerald Green a few years ago blowing the candle out and dunking? And everyone's like, oh, that's stupid. I'm like, yo, you ever try to blow a candle out and dunk a basketball? And you're going to sit here and say, oh, that's not really that exciting? You go do that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I've rambled on enough. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, the 3-point contest was definitely the highlight of the night for me. I feel like shout out to Big Cat. He represented for the big men out there, knocking down them threes, setting the record for the most points in the final round of the 3-point contest. And that is an impressive feat, all things considering. Some of the people, some of the big names we know that have been and competed in 3-point contests before over the years. And that whole contest, it was actually exciting. I mean, Trey Young and the other guy, the guy from OKC, or the Clippers or whatever, that guy from the Clippers they made it interesting, man. Those guys, they knocked down 26 points in the finals, so they made it. Usually in a normal year, that's a score that can win the 3-point contest. But
True.
They ran into Big Cat. You know what I mean? He knocked down the Big 29. So shout out to him. That skills competition.
You're just getting that rhythm.
As far as that skills competition is concerned, I don't know. It was a little different because they changed it all the way up completely. It made it like a team concept thing, and it was kind of weird. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. It was still more entertaining than the dunk contest. It definitely was. It was definitely more entertaining than the dunk contest. But the Greek Freak had his family out there, him and his brothers, his 2 brothers, who are nowhere near on his level of basketball skills. And it was quite evident. It was quite evident in that competition. And, shout out to the home team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, little trio they did. They pulled it out. So it was I don't know. I gotta maybe see that another couple years or two, and maybe it'll grow on me a little bit more. But I kind of liked it better when it was the individual event.
I think
as far as that, go ahead.
I thought it was boring. I just thought there was no. I mean, the thing is, here's what I like, and I don't mean to cut you off. And I have another point, but I like the up and coming stars at the 3-point contest. But I want names when I go to the dunk contest. You need to bring marquee guys back. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh, here's Obi Toppin. If you don't play, if you're not a huge Knicks fan, you're not gonna know who maybe Obi Toppin is. Outside that, he has the most odd name I've ever heard. But I mean, hey, what do I know? I didn't name him. Not my kid. So my point is that, like, yeah, now Obi Toppin's in it. He automatically gets in it. He's going to defend his title. Now you're going to bring in guys again who don't want to do it, like LeBron, man. You talk a big game, you throw down a big game, but I've not seen you once in the dunk contest.
I was going to touch on that, as a matter of fact. But as far as the dunk contest, I wish I could have stuck needles in my eyes watching that. It was because it was ridiculous. I mean, look, some of the dunks they pulled off were impressive when they finally pulled them off. They finally pulled them off.
Right. That's the
But the point is, they look, you just like you hit on earlier. They look like 4 guys that woke up Saturday morning and somebody gave them a phone call and said, "Hey, look, man, you're gonna go out and go compete in the dunk contest tonight. Just show up." You know what I mean? That's what it looked like. It was. I mean, you got my man out there feeling the need to strap on some Timbs and
like, what are you doing?
Like, really, man? Really?
That was your creativity. You sat down and were like, I'm going to dunk with some Timbs on. Like, dude, you're already small enough as it is. Don't put weights on your foot so you can't get high enough to make it. And then you're missing dunks because you can't get high enough. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I mean.
He had the one boy try to pull the Vince Carter off. He couldn't get his whole arm in.
Know your body. Know your body.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Absolutely. Like, it was laughable most of the way. I mean, okay, shout out Toppin, he won, but let's face it, man, it wasn't much competition going on in there. And there's been so many great dunkers over the years. I just feel like what you said is about the superstars. I think they need to put emphasis on this because at this point right now, I only consider myself a casual fan of the NBA right now.
I hear you.
So at this point, All-Star weekends and things of this nature are not only for the hardcore fans, but they're also for you, basically your casual blase fans, people who don't really follow, but this will at least keep them interested a little bit for a night. You know what I mean? And you want to see the bigger names out there. You need to see a lot more participation from, like you were saying, from some of the bigger names. LeBron James, to have never competed in a dunk contest ever in your whole entire career, bro. I mean,
Like, really?
even Kobe
Right.
did
Right.
one.
Kobe,
You know what I
but
mean?
Jordan did too. I mean, Dominic Wilkins. I mean,
Back in the day, it was a star-studded thing back in the day.
right.
It's like
This is why they call it All-Star Weekend, not All Scrubs Weekend.
it's
You
like, I'll
have
give
to-
you an
they should
example,
change it.
like in baseball, the home run derby. You don't just see the regular schmoes on the team
Right.
that nobody knows. You see fucking guys that are playing in the game the next day. You know, you see
Right.
the stars. You see
Exactly.
the
Mac.
big names.
Mac, you hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what it is. We might as well call the All-Star Weekend the All Scrubs Weekend, because that's what they bring out there. Scrubs, a bunch of scrubs. And then they parade them around and are like, here you go in the dunk contest. Like, this is what I mean. I understand you don't want to get guys injured. There's $1 million, they're $1 million athletes. I understand it, but you're not doing anything outlandish. And I mean, you could win with LeBron James, if he goes there, is winning automatically, right? He's just does one crazy dunk, 360 dunk, and that's it. It's over. Everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, I've never seen a 360 dunk done like that. So you know what I mean? That's what's gonna happen.
I don't know if you noticed, like over there at the judges table, Dr. J looks like he's just like, why am I here?
Exactly.
Why are you calling me out here for this?
Exactly.
Like, it just.
He rolled my 67-year-old ass out here and put these great dunkers in front of us. You had Dominic Wilkins on that panel. I forget who was next to him. You had Drexler. You had Dr. J, Julius Irving. You were slapping them in the face with these athletes that you brought out in front of us. Half of them have hairdos, get a haircut, you make millions of dollars, right? And it's like, I don't understand what it is. And then you got guys who don't understand their jumping ability because they didn't get time to practice. I mean, Anthony, the kid, he's about what, 6'3"? I get it, but he don't have hops. And he's like what Kenny Smith said, these are all good in-game dunkers, which means, yes, in a game they're running down, you lob it, they're gonna dunk it. But where are the guys like Jordan who you knew could go from the foul line, right?
Exactly,
Vince Carter.
You know what these guys do for creativity now, and it's not a knock. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying like it's some kind of easy thing, but shout out to Isaiah Ryder, by the way. It's just a between the leg dunk. I mean, they just try to put different variations on the in between the leg dunk that was obviously made famous by Isaiah Ryder years ago. You know what I mean?
We forget about that. The 1994 dunk contest, man, I'm aging myself, was Isaiah Ryder's coming out party in terms of doing a dunk that no one ever seen before. Under the legs, from the side of the rim, bang, right? Then there's been different variations of it where Vince Carter did one, which was insane. And then Jason Richardson had one of the most insane ones where he actually dunked it backwards. And then there was Aaron Gordon, who he brought both legs up and did under the ass, under the ass dunk. And that was like,
how about it?
That was awesome. You know
that
what
was
I mean?
like the last great dunk contest, in my opinion, was Aaron
Right.
Gordon.
And he should have won, but obviously it was somebody else. But I get the rising stars, I do, but that's not what the NBA is about. The NBA is built on your stars, not the rising stars. If guys get to that level of being a star, that's what you do for the All-Star game. That's why these All-Star games have become, like, the baseball All-Star game is pretty good. I know the hockey All-Star game is pretty good, but the baseball All-Star game, they have a little bit of a stipulation, because if you win, you're getting home field throughout the playoffs in the World Series, right? So at least, like, if I'm the National League or the American League, I win, I'm getting, at least if whoever's representing, I'll gladly do the dunk contest on an 8-foot rim, with in slow motion off of a trampoline. But what I'm saying is, like, go ahead.
I'll say also one more quick thing about it. Just if the NBA is going to showcase this event as the highlight of the night, then it needs to be a fucking highlight. That's what it needs.
You know what
to
I mean?
It needs to be a highlight.
Are you going to be talking about this dunk contest for years?
I've already forgotten this dunk contest.
We'll probably talk about how bad it is. Oh my God, my man Martin Truex is in third place. It's still early in the race, but dropped to fourth. But live updates on NASCAR coming to you live on Premium Takes. I know people don't like NASCAR, but get into it, people. It's cars.
But if you're gonna, yeah, you gotta. And that's another reason to probably try to, try to get some of the bigger names to want to compete in this competition because you make it the highlight of the evening, so to speak, as it's the main event. It's the last thing that happens before you
And it was
pretty much.
it was the worst thing. Like your boy Philly B says, if I paid for a ticket, I'd be disappointed and want my money back. I sure as hell
Absolutely.
would. Somebody else said, I think it was Logan, who said, or no, Supertaj. Thanks for Chad Supertaj. He goes, they need to start using the 3-point contest as the main event. And they said that on the broadcast, and the guy was like, no. But I'm like, yo, if I sat here, that was more exciting than the dunk contest. I was in
Well,
it.
you see,
People were making shots. You were rooting for the guys. You're like, oh man, in the dunk contest, it was like, oh, we're on dunk number 5 still. He's still trying the same dunk. Oh, great. He's still up, still bouncing up. Is that an attempt?
but
Like
they attempted that. They did that one year. It was one year they had a 3-point contest last because the dunk contest
really?
had gotten a little bit stale. I can't remember what year it was. It was sometime in the 2000s though, and they had a dunk contest. And they had a dunk contest before the 3-point contest, and there was a big stink I guess made about it, and they switched it back around, and it's been like back to normal ever since. But I mean, Miz, I can agree with you to an extent, but there's still enough big names. You got superstars, man. Like, give me a Ja Morant in the dunk contest or something. You know what I mean? Give me some something like that. Give me like the people somebody's gonna come out here with some swag, make it an electric competition. You know what I mean? And make it fun for the crowd because that's what it's really all about. They're not making it fun for the crowd because they're all there like Adam's doing out there just missing dunk after dunk after dunk, and then they finally get one in, and it's just like. What's going on? The crowd is just going to sleep, man.
No,
The
I
dunk
mean, I don't
contest
think
is
they're.
supposed to be lit, man.
I mean, I don't think they're running out of big names. I just think they're not pushing the big names to be in their big events, right? If you watch the All-Star game, which is going to be on tonight, it's going to be a glorified dunk contest there, which is fine by me. I mean, I get it, but like Jordan and Kobe would never let that happen. They were like, "Yo, we're representing the East, we're representing the West. We're going to play enough of basketball that it's enough of basketball." But now it's like, why am I even going to tune in to this game if you're not even going to give me anything to it? I mean, the thing about the NBA was I always thought their dunk contest or their weekend was the best because they always had events going on and it usually was fun leading up to the game, unlike the NFL, which had the Pro Bowl. Now this year they had the skills competition, and I actually had more fun watching the NFL skills competition and their crazy catches than I did watching the dunk contest. I have Xavier Woods doing a backflip, catching the ball under his legs, and I can't even get a guy to get a ball in a hoop that he does for a living. Come on. Like
Yeah,
Obi Toppin, I got Star Wars characters in my dunk contest games. No offense to you, Obi Toppin. It's not your
I
fault.
mean, at least give us some build up. Give us some kind of something dramatic, something to make it interesting. Like I mean, had Blake Griffin rolling out a car out in the middle of the court to jump over,
Right,
and all kinds of crazy. I mean, give
right.
us something, man. I mean, it's not like the dunk was anything super spectacular, but he jumped over a car, so it was still
Right.
pretty damn impressive. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, just the show he put on before he started, just to do that leading up to the dunk. I mean, you got to give us
Right.
more. I think, and the fact that also just personal pride. You have dunking royalty standing in front of you.
Exactly.
Dominique Wilkins and Dr. J are sitting right there at that judge's table, and
And you
Clyde
give him
Drexler.
that.
And Clyde Drexler. And this is what you do. This is the performance you put on in front of dunking royalty
We're
that is out
talking
here to
about
judge you.
probably, we were talking about right there, Dominique, Clyde, and Dr. J, probably the 3 best dunkers of all time, hands down, in the NBA history. And you're sitting there and you're giving me caca. Like, and the thing is that I get it, but sometimes you got to, Mac, like you said, I think it's like they just went down the list and said, you, and you, are you ready to go in the dunk contest? Great. Here we go. You're on. You're on in 5. Hope you have some dunks ready. Like the 3-point contest, Bird walked in. He walked in with swagger, and he would go, okay, who's coming in second place? Like that's what Larry Bird would do for a 3-point contest. Michael Jordan and Dominique had epic dunk battles 2 years in a row, and Jordan lost a couple of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, this is what you want to bring me back to the NBA. Get me the dunk contest because to me, that would bring me excitement now because now I want to, because they remember Vince Carter had Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady, I don't remember if he was in that dunk contest or was helping him out, but I know he was helping him out, but I don't know if he was one of the contestants as well. But I was like, man, Tracy McGrady's throwing it up off the backboard and stuff. Like, it was exciting to see guys in there because now I could follow them up. I like Trae Young, right? He was one of the bigger stars in the 3-point contest. These other guys I don't really care about because 3-point special. I mean, Steve Kerr he used to shoot 3-pointers. That's all he did. He had no other game but to come in, catch a pass from Jordan or Pippen or whoever, and shoot a 3-pointer, right? Steph Curry, where are you? You're the reigning 3-point king. Why aren't you in the game?
Because he was too busy playing stupid games with his wife and 2 Chainz and his wife earlier on the broadcast.
You are all stars, and you are putting in the B stars. It's like this is the one thing I don't like about the NBA, right? Because if you're looking at NASCAR right now, right? What'd you say?
I was gonna say before you. I was gonna say real quick as you talking about the stars. I think one more thing about the superstars. One thing that could be deterring them from wanting to enter these dunk contests is they don't want that stigma of losing, like a la Sean Kemp years ago, who could never seem to ever get it done in a dunk contest, and it wasn't from a lack of effort. He just never could get it done.
But who is he going up against?
Oh, he was going against other great dunkers.
Right. So it's sometimes it's a competition in the field, right? Or a guy that like Jordan is an up and comer, right? He was one of the stars of the game. Guys they had in the dunk contest are like 6 men and bench players and rookies. They're not like rising stars like Obi Toppin. Like, come on, man, he's been in the league maybe 1 year, 2 years. Like, that's not a rising star. To me, it's like to me this is what happens with the NBA, right? And this is what I was going to go into. And before Mac, you brought that point up. The NBA is the only game I know that charges you full price for having their stars sit on the bench. So me, the consumer, can go to this game in wherever town, spend hundreds of dollars, and you decide I'm going to sit LeBron James this week because, I don't know, he's tired or his back hurts or something like that. I'm like, if I went to the NFL and paid money for you to sit your stars, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed off. You know what I mean? But here we are, and the NBA just parades us out. Tells us what we need to watch, how we need to act, how we need to do this, and you can't even get your brightest stars to take one. It's a weekend. What do you think they're doing? They're partying all weekend. Give me
they're
something.
All there. They just decided what they don't want to be sitting in the stands, hanging out like they're just like regular people or something. No, you're the superstars people come to see, and they don't want to see you sitting in the stands with them. They want to see you out there putting on a show.
Incentivize their asses. You say this. The winner of the dunk contest gets $20,000, something like that, right? And a shoe endorsement from Nike, right? I guarantee you people are going to be like, oh, let me get in that one. You put a little money on it, a little ante up, boom, they're going to do it. No, instead I got Obi Toppin, some other guys I've never heard of, doing dunks that they can't even do. They can't even do.
Exactly. If you're going out there, know you can execute.
The Michael Jordan cradle dunk. And he couldn't even get his hand above the rim to do this.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And then Obi Toppin did a reverse dunk, and he barely pushed it in like a layup. And I'm like, what is that? That's a dunk? What, do we put skirts on now all of a sudden? Like, where's the ferocity?
Let's not forget in the final round when the kid from Golden State, the Mexican kid, that attempted a Jason Richardson dunk over and over and over and over again. If you can't do it, don't attempt to do it. You put the man's jersey on like you were getting ready to bring the house down, and he didn't even come close, to be honest, on none of his attempts at making that dunk. So clearly, it's not something you've truly worked on. It's something you just thought in your head, oh, I'm going to do Jason Richardson dunk. Yeah. No.
Like back whatever happened to, I know people talk about practice, but if you're going out there to do a dunk for a contest, right? You may want to rehearse this dunk. It's not like they don't know they're in their contest, right? And it's like, to me, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think this is one of those things people talk about for years. The NBA event they talk about for years. It really gears up your second half of the NBA season, right? Because you're getting everybody ready. Your road to the playoffs starts after this game. The season is condensed, right? Instead of being these long months, it basically is March and into about mid-April. and then you have the playoffs, and this is how you're going to get going. I just can't right now. I just can't. It just makes me upset because what you and I grew up watching was epic, and we would talk about it. I remember the game sitting in the game, and this is not dunk contest, but it was an All-Star Weekend story. I'm watching with my brother. I think it was around 2000, maybe 1999, something like that. T-Mac's in the game, and he was with Orlando. So whatever that is, circa that time, right? So it's probably 2003, because he was with Vince Carter at the dunk contest in 2000. So we're sitting there watching, and McGrady comes up and basically gets up to the top of the key, throws the ball up to the backboard. Everybody's looking. Everybody literally does a 360 to see who he's throwing the ball to. T-Mac comes around everybody, catches the ball midair, and dunks it. And everyone's just like, what just happened? I mean, that's the type of stuff the NBA All-Star game brought me. Was like, and me and my brother who was watching with me jumped out of our seats because we're like, oh my God, nobody even knew. Because we saw him setting it up. And then you watch the replay and you see like Dirk Nowitzki and Tim Duncan like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like who is he throwing it to? And it was just one of those things that was like a memory to me. Now I'm like, I'm not even watching the All-Star game. It's not even that exciting. I spent, I guess 2 or 3 hours of my night trying to watch this show so we would be informed for today's show about what's going on. See, we actually trying to do homework here, people. We want to watch the show to not give you, false information. But after watching it, I said, I wrote to the NBA a nasty email. And I said, I want my 2 hours back. I want my 2 hours back because you wasted my time sitting here with Obi-Wan Kenobi winning the NBA dunk contest. And he won. And his second dunk I would have just stopped. I would have just said, no, I wouldn't have done the dunk the second time. I would have just done a cool dunk, try the foul line dunk. You already know you were winning. And here we go.
Yeah, he could have just
Here we go. He does the dumb dunk again. It was like, and I was like, oh, that dunk's not hard. I've never seen that dunk. It was just like, man, even the judges, like Kenny the Jet Smith was like, he's like, this stinks, blah, blah, blah. You're like, dude.
Yeah. They couldn't say anything. You see Dwayne Wade at the end. He turned his 9 upside down and said this dunk contest was a 6.
Oh, man, you hear that when he was like, oh, that gives us a 6. I'm like, yo, Dwayne is not going to be here next year. They're like, sorry, cut him off.
Better things. I mean, he's got better things to do on this Saturday night, I'm sure, than watch something like that.
Yeah, Gabrielle Union, if they're still together, I guess that would be, I don't know, I'm not into pop culture. But, man, that was fun talking about that crappy shitstorm yesterday. What else is on the docket?
Yes, indeedy, man. And we can definitely move on from this, and we can get into final thoughts of the NFL season this year, man. 2021 season. We'll wrap it up. Let us know how you feel. Oh, Zion is missing in action, Logan, man. Have no idea what's going on. Hope everything is all right because he can't even get a hold of him on the phone. So,
yeah, hope everything's all right. But knowing him, he's probably sleeping somewhere. Forgetting about us. Not just kidding. Hope everything's good, Zion. We're here. We had to get the show rolling. Our 6 viewers needed to see us, so we needed to give them the show.
Absolutely. And
but anyways, Mac, you said the end of the NFL season. Do you want me to start, or should you start?
You can go ahead and take it away, Adam.
So I love that the NFL season has come and is now gone, but is now new, right? I hate that this is the first Sunday we have without football. I hate it, but I love the fact that we're all 0-0, right? We're all 0-0. We can finally put, especially Giant fans. I know for Jet fans and other fan bases outside of maybe Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Giant fans, we are very hard on ourselves. And this season was very hard to watch. There was a lot of infighting. It just was one of those things where it's like, why do I spend my time on Sundays rooting for this team when they don't give me anything? And it was one of those seasons where, I've dealt with losing. But we had Odell Beckham Jr. running 60-yard slant routes in the house, right? I've seen, the Dave Brown-led Giants, but at least the defense was something to watch. This was absolutely terrible. And, the fact that we got these great playoff games to end the season, I really hope brought a lot of fans back. I know that the Super Bowl did 112 million people, and that was compared to last year's Super Bowl, which was 96 million people. That was pretty good, and I expect there to be more going forward with all these new apps and ways to watch. But if they're going to be that exciting, and the Super Bowl wasn't bad either. The Super Bowl ended up being pretty close. Um, in that game, I think if you're a Bengal fan, you're hurting because you had chances to win and you didn't. But now everyone's 0-0, and I think this part of the season is the most fun part of the season, right? Because I think during the season you're very stressed out as a fan. You're like, oh my God, we're gonna lose this game. Every week you got to get yourself back up and ready to go for Sunday, right? Because you don't have that much time to dwell on it. But this is the off season, and because the Giants are, and I'll use the Giants specifically, have new GM and stuff, it makes it more exciting. And just watching all the movement across the league, the Raiders getting a new coach after going to the playoffs, Minnesota having a new coach, the Texans getting a new coach, a lot of guys moving, and just the NFL is king. No matter what they do, they're king, and this is where you see that they're king. The off season. We're talking about mock drafts in February. They haven't even run the combine yet. And this is going to change everything when they get there. When somebody, stubs a toe in the combine and pulls a hamstring, or they find some medical issue that happened back when he was in 8th grade. Well, he had a bad knee in 8th grade, may not have healed correctly, push him down the board. You know what I mean? Like, this is where all of that starts. And I love it because I love to be a part of it. I love to learn about these prospects and see. But at the end of the day, we all don't know. And free agency really is a big tell on how your team may or may not go. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. But, think about what Dave Gettleman said last year. I hate to use it. He said they want to get playmakers. Well, they did. They went out and they got Kenny Galladay. They went out and they got Kadarius Toney, So the end of the season for me is sad but happy, because now we get to speculate on who we're going to beat, who's coming in here, who are they cutting, like all this stuff. It's, it's one of those things where football, when I was growing up, once the offseason happened, it was crickets. It was the combine happened. Nobody really knew about it. Then the draft, the free agency happened quickly. Again, nobody knew about it. And then, you had the draft, which was the big event they always held. Now they go wall to wall, basically coverage from the end of February on now, right? They promote the combine, which is basically 2.5 weeks away. Then you've got the free agency frenzy. They have a TV show on, and then then we have mock drafts till the cows come home. So then after there's like after the mock drafts happen, it's like what is there to watch, right? So I love the fact that it's good. I love to see these new players, and I'm not glad that it's over. I'm glad the Giants season is over. I'm not glad the NFL season is over, because I love football. I'm actually intrigued by the USFL, because that's how much of a football junkie I am. I'm even going to take crappy, not even 5th round picks, like 7th round picks playing football in the USFL to quench my thirst, because that's how much I love.
I heard that, man. I agree. Like you said, that I'm not happy at all about the NFL season being over either, because I just love the NFL as well. But like you said, man, you said it best. I'm definitely glad this painful, very painful Giants season is over, man, and behind us. And before I go any further, right quick, just one more quick shout out. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams for their Super Bowl victory a week ago. And once again, more prayers out to Odell Beckham Jr. for another unfortunate injury. And wish him the best in a speedy recovery, and see if he can get back out there and resume his career down the line, man. But
before we move away from this NFL topic, and we're going to continue, I guess, into other topics on the show regarding the NFL and some topics that deal with the off season, since we're already here. Turf. Will people decide to change their field turf? Because apparently a lot of guys are getting injured. Now, do I believe it's all turf related? I don't. I believe it's a combination of how they train and a combination of the turf. When your muscles get too big, they can't support the ligaments, because your ligaments and things don't get bigger, right? So the turf doesn't help, but they've tried to make it better turf. I mean, Mac, you remember the Giants Stadium when it was cardboard, right? It didn't even have grass, right? It didn't even have blades of grass, and you got to ask yourself, why are you getting so many soft tissue injuries and non-contact? More so everywhere, not just on the field, but everywhere. I think it's a product of how they train. Because remember, they're not training to be. They need more yoga, more flexibility training. because your body is being contorted and twisted. This heavy lifting that they do sometimes doesn't work right now, right? The cleats, they are, as well as they don't need cleats anymore. If you're running on turf, you might as well run with AstroTurf shoes. A lot of these cleats are what the problem is that they get stuck in the ground and they get pulled. Maybe if they're not running with cleats, right? And maybe they run with turf shoes. I don't know if you guys know, but Deion Sanders came out with a line of shoes back in the day, which were turf-related shoes, right? And they were like Zoom Airs or something like that, and they had a different style of grip on the bottom. They weren't real shoes. They were shoes, but they had a different grip to kind of grip the ground. So what I'm saying is that they got to do something, right? The indoor stadiums, I can give a pass to them, even though Arizona has basically rectified that issue by bringing the grass outside during the day and pulling it in during the week. But the Giants did trays back in the day in 2000, and for me, it's like I don't really care about your trays and how much it costs, because you're probably putting you can basically have a farmer who just farms your grass all year, right? I know that costs money, but it's not like you're going to have to do a big company. They all brought these field turf in, and it's all been injured. And by the way, they water that field turf like grass. When I was there, or when I've been able to take tours of the facilities, they are watering the AstroTurf. I'm like, what the hell are you watering the AstroTurf for? It ain't growing. But it's kind of to make it cool off and to make it a little bit more moist. See what's happened is this, right? If you guys are not familiar with how the turf is built, this is what tends to happen: is they have sand, they put down concrete, they put down sand, and they put down a layer of rubber pellets, right? And then they put down a layer of that grass, or vice versa. How you doing, Miz? The grass is there, and they put all those things in. Now, those pebbles, as you see when nothing much, just talking football and a little NASCAR. Give you an update. Martin Truex Jr., number car 19, is in the 8th spot. That's my guy from my state, so I'm going to go with him. Top 10 finishes needed to take the actual whole Cup Series. But anyways, what I'm saying with turf is like grass is not going to be that expensive, especially nowadays. You can get it anywhere. I get it in 2000. We tried it. It didn't work out, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if Arthur Blank is going to be like, yeah, we're going to go to grass now, or if the Mercedes-Benz Superdome is now going to change up, or Energy Stadium is going to be like, yeah, we're going to run grass now. So I get it for domes, right? But I also put this into perspective as well. Yes, it's the field turf, but I also believe it's also the athletes, because some of these guys are getting hamstring pulls in practice, and they're practicing on grass. So that tells me something is not right. So we got to figure it out entirely. But the NFL, they don't care about safety. They care about points.
Well, I know you got some big thoughts on this particular topic, Miz. What you got about the turf grass situation, man?
Do you guys hear me right? Because I'm on my phone, so.
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
And we can see your head.
Yeah. Well, you already know I'm talking about the turf like midway through the season. It's definitely a big role. That Odell injury, it was so much the turf that it started getting a lot of players to talking up the last week or so. And I think the league is gonna address it. I think that we'll probably be starting. It'll take 2 or 3 years, but I think your stadiums will slowly go over to natural grass and dirt the way we had it in the 80s and 90s. And I know some stadiums had that carpet turf, but I don't think you're going to see that. So eventually, I think the whole league will go over to grass. And I know it costs a little more money, but you're talking about a league that's filthy rich. And, I mean, listen, stars' careers are getting cut short because of this,
Right. Well, I think the big stand will happen is when players start to walk out and say, I'm not playing because you have field turf. Once they start to lose their stars voluntarily, as opposed to being injured, you're going to see that. However, the problem with the NFL is, and this is why the labor union never has a leg to stand on, is that you can go find NFL players anywhere. They're 5'11", 5'12", 5'10", receivers, linebackers. You find them anywhere. The NBA is different because there are not that many 7'7" guys walking around, right? 6'5" guys walking around. So when it comes to agreements to change things the NFL, I feel, is at a disadvantage because they'll hire convicts, which some of them are anyways, but they'll hire convicts to play the game. And we'll continue to watch because there's a New York Giants logo on their helmet, right? So I really hope there's a change. You know, I know these owners, the NFL claims they want to do safety, which I see them do a lot with the equipment. But you got to ask yourself the question, how many people are getting concussed by getting hit besides Daniel Jones, right? A lot of them are getting concussed because they land on the ground and their head flips back and hits the turf, right? And that's where they're getting the concussion. I mean, I've even heard guys getting concussion because they're headbutting each other in the huddle, right? You know, because you're not really ready for it. You're standing there going, oh, look at that play, and then someone headbutts you in the huddle, and then boom. So if the NFL really cares about their players, which I feel like they don't, but they'll really consider this. I hope they change it. I think the Giants do it. There are people that can cut grass. I know that somebody said, what up, Giants Opinion Sports?
What's going on, GOS?
Billy B said, we need people to cut the grass. Hell, I'll cut the grass at Giants Stadium if it means I get a free ticket every Sunday.
I'll meet you there, Adam. I'll rake the dirt.
Exactly. If it means we're going to get a free ticket on Sunday to watch the game, I'll maintain the grass for you. It's not that hard, you know. If you have a lawn in your house and you maintain your lawn, it's the same thing, just on a giant scale. No pun intended. So,
I was gonna say, if I jump in, I just want real quick. This whole grass turf thing with me, football is meant to be played on grass, dirt, grass, nature, not synthetic grass, not carpet, not a concrete floor with a little thin layer of carpet over it. Football is meant to be played on grass. Look at the Raiders out in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. Shout out to Allegiant Stadium. They roll that field plate in and out of that stadium when needed and play football games on natural grass. Out there in the dome in Allegiant Stadium. And look, the NFL teams, the NFL cities, there's enough money going around that they can make this happen all across the league wide, man. Wherever you got to do to make it, just get this game played on natural grass, because this turf is leading to too many serious injuries, too many superstars, big names, year in and year out, going down because of turf injuries. You're not even getting touched. Sometimes these guys not even getting touched by people, and they're going down with season-ending knee injuries because their foot gets planted in the turf some kind of awkward way and snaps their damn knee. It's just absolutely ridiculous, man.
There are blowing out tires left and right here in Daytona. Second car I saw today where they're riding on the rail. My God.
No, the worst injuries are non-contact, and that has to do with the cleat, the turf. And like Adam said earlier, these guys' legs are stronger than ever. You know, they're squatting heavier than ever. They're using, I don't care. Listen, they're using some type of supplements which makes your body stronger. People that live in the gym know about this stuff. It just does. They want to be bigger, stronger, faster, and muscular than ever. So something has to give. And they wear these, I'm telling you, they wear these long cleats to get a better grip into the floor so they can get a better quick step or cut back the other way. And that's where you blow out your knee or ankle because there's no dirt for the cleat to turn in. You know, so, and I think Mara said they're going to do away with the turf at MetLife. It might take a year or two because it might take some time. But he realizes, let's face it, not because it's our team, but our team has suffered one of the most injuries in the league over the last 4 years.
Right.
You saw what happened to the 49ers a couple of years ago playing in that stadium. Half their damn team got injured playing in that stadium.
Well, Bosa spoke about that. Actually, Bosa tweeted last weekend after the Odell injury. He was one of the first to tweet about that the turfs have to go. They're causing players to destroy their knees, and he goes, and I'm one of them, and he mentioned that it happened in MetLife and that it's a bad turf. He mentioned that in a tweet last week.
Right. And I think it's also, here's another problem, is they practice all on grass. Every NFL team practices on grass. Then you tell their bodies to now go from grass to run 100 miles an hour on a faster track because you want the competitive advantage, and they blow out their knees because the body has been used to a certain surface for over a week. And then at the end of that week, you go on a surface that doesn't have the same foot traffic as the grass that they're playing on, right? And I think the reason you play on the grass is because of that, foot traffic. Nobody's jersey gets dirty anymore, so it's no fun. Like when the Giants went to the 49ers, it was cool to see the helmet of dirt actually coming out of Eli Manning's helmet, not the pellets, but actual dirt from his helmet. It was cool to see, and that's part of the game. That's part of the history. And again, they're doing it, the owners, to save a few dollars, which, I mean, listen, rich people find a way to save money, but, if they really want longevity for the game, they're going to have to make these tweaks. Now, will that eliminate all injuries? No. Will soft tissue injuries still probably be prevalent and up? Yes. And I do believe soft tissue injuries are more so because of how they lift and how their bodies are put together. And I think that's put a lot of stress on their bodies that when they do these explosive, remember, they are doing explosive movements, right? Everything is power out. Nothing is ever easy. So if that means you're running, you're squatting, you're doing these basic movements to get more explosive, you're not becoming more bendy, right? And your hamstrings don't grow because you're adding more muscle. They just get tighter because they have to hold you because you're stretching, right? So unlike muscles, hamstrings and ligaments don't grow at the same speed. So then you're having this rubber band that used to be able to hold a certain amount of weight, now being almost over exaggerated. And that's why a lot of guys blow their knees out, besides just the turf, but on these soft tissue injuries. And that's why I think the Giants in particular need a new strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
And they call me old fashioned, but I also just get tired of watching these games and watching these guys knock each other around for 4 quarters, and you're not even dirty. You don't have any grass stains on you. Nothing,
right.
Man. I mean, it's old fashioned, but
they're like, get
I
a
like
game-worn jersey. What game did it play in?
I was gonna say that, Mac. I missed those games in the 80s and 90s, those snow and mud fields in Cleveland and San Francisco when it rains. You know what I'm talking about? Like Mile High, especially Cleveland. Remember the old dirt field in Cleveland?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. There were competitive advantages. Wasn't there a game where they muddied the field one game? I think it was in Denver, where they muddied the field to slow the other team down. And they were like, what happened? It's like, it's a rainstorm. Meanwhile, they really flooded the field. But, they're like, there was no rain last night. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? But those are the little things you would do to get a competitive edge.
But real quick, we hit on GOS's comment that he had made earlier a little while ago about Maris. If this is true, man, and I'm disappointed in our owner because that means he cares more about his pocket saving money than the product on the field, the players that's playing for him, that's out there making him money, basically, essentially. So that's
the problem. Is Mara is part of the issue because see, I love our owner, but there are certain things about our owner that get on my nerves, right? Like the celebration rule, right? You can't taunt anybody. Thanks a lot, John Mara. Now you can't talk about taking a person's manhood after you run them over in the NFL. No, you have to pick them up off the ground, pat them on the head, say sorry for taking your lunch money, and go back to your huddle. Thanks, John Mara. I mean, yes, John Mara has saved the game, but he's also done a lot to hinder it. Right, like I get it. Painted mud is what his dad said in 2000 when the Giants were going to the Super Bowl, and he's like, "On this field of painted mud," you know what I mean? Like, dude, we get it. I know, but you have money now to pay maintenance people. You think the Mets don't have a grounds crew? Their field looks good every time they play baseball. The Yankees, they play in the Bronx. Do you know what the Bronx looks like? There's not just grass lying around doing nothing unless it's at a park. Like Queens. Like there's no just like, hey, look, there's suburbs, there's a grass farm over there. No, there's buildings. But yet these teams can keep grass growing in stadiums all year round. But the Giants, who live in the swamp of the swampiest swamp, can't, put a grass turf field in.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, how about you call your neighbors? Say, hey, Yankees, how are you doing? And who's your groundskeeper guy? Maybe he wants to come work for us for a few during the off season.
But any more?
They will switch over.
You were breaking up pretty bad there, man.
What was that, Miz? We couldn't hear you. You were sounding like.
You don't hear me? I'm breaking up.
We're breaking up.
Now.
What? No,
Just good now.
We're breaking up.
What I'm saying is, do you hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you now. Yeah, we're good.
I think if the league gets involved, they'll change the fields for the better of the athletes' legs. By the way, you don't see any soccer being played on turf, you know?
True, true. But the competition committee, maybe they'll bring that up in a few of the penalties and a couple of the other things. You know how the competition committee gets together every year and they always vote on some dumb rule that you like. What? We didn't even know that rule existed. Well, maybe that's what they should really bring up this year. Is figure out a way to make a grass fund where you can revenue share across the league, and part of the money will go to resurfacing fields. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take. The NFL is a monster. They are probably the most watched sport outside of NASCAR in certain areas. By the way, NASCAR, Martin Truex Jr. is in 5th place. Keep going, Martin. Almost to the top. Got a lot more race to go, but the NFL is king. So they're going to do what they want to do, and we're going to just comply with it. And I'm hoping they change it. We'll see in the off season. I mean, this is what they see. The NFL is funny. They love
I'm just talking to the guys online.
They love to hate. And what I mean by that is if they're in the newsletter for being like idiots for scandals, that's good for them. If they're in the news for free agency, that's good for them. The NFL looks at it like they're a giant PR conglomerate. That's all they care about is you talking about the NFL, no matter what.
Well, that's a good segue. Maybe we can segue into something else. So you brought up the competition committee. Maybe we can segue a bit into how do you feel about after that Buffalo Kansas City the Buffalo Kansas City playoff game, man. How do you really feel about the overtime rule? Does the NFL need to take another look at it? Should we maybe look to maybe change it and to where both teams definitely at least get a possession in overtime before we're going to sudden death? If we're going to any form of a sudden death.
I think it should be. I think you should play the game like a normal fourth quarter is played, right? So if the team scores, at whoever is the winner at the end of the quarter, or the end of the zeros expiring, is the winner, right? I mean, especially the playoffs.
Well, look, my thoughts on it is just there. I feel like even they don't necessarily have to play another whole quarter out, but even I don't want it to just be completely in the hands of a coin toss. You know what I mean? Where the first team gets it, and if they go down and score a touchdown, it's just game over. I mean, the other team should at least get a chance to match that touchdown, and then for the sake of, I mean, maybe time and the fact that they've already played 4 whole quarters of football already, then we go to a sudden death format in which now next team wins, next team scores. That's ball game. So I just feel like we got it was a great game. I said, and it was a great game. That Buffalo Kansas City game was a sensational game, and I feel like we got cheated out of a really good ending, man. Because at that point we already knew whoever won that coin toss was going to win the game. They were going to go on and score a touchdown and win the game. It was just the way that game was going. That was just pretty clear and obvious. So I just want to see at least both teams, no matter what, get a possession.
You know what they're going to tell you, Mac? They're going to tell you that the game after with Cincinnati ended differently, right? They stopped the team, went down, they scored their field goal. But to me, it's like just play the game, and if it keep the NBA doesn't stop. The NBA doesn't stop their play. They just keep going. They just keep going to the next quarter, and they just keep going. And that's what they had to do. That there should be no ties. Ties are useless. They're useless unless you're in hockey and you have points and you're adding point totals, right? Which the NFL has points, but it's so weird their system that just win. There should be no ties. Just even in the regular season, who cares if we get like 6 quarters of football? Okay, well, so what? That's what happens. The sudden death where like the colleges, they do it from the 20-yard line, then they move it back, then they move it back more, then they move it back, and each team that scores, each team gets a chance. And if you don't match their score, the game's over. Yeah. So, if not for nothing, the Bengals go down and score. Now Kansas City gets the ball back to see if they can score a field goal. I mean, and if they score a field goal, great. If they score a touchdown, well, then you have the Bengals. They got to go down and match it and see if they score a touchdown. Otherwise, the game's over, right? You don't just end it because someone kicked a field goal and it's over. You know, if you were to do that, leave it like a regular quarter and play the regular quarter to the end, and people can still have your walk off excitement where like a kick wins it at the end of regulation. But if you're going to do it like you do now, where one team wins and kicks the ball, how about you do it like in college, where you either make them drive downfield or you put them in the red zone and say, here, you have to score a touchdown, and the other team has to match what you did. So if you scored a touchdown, they have to match it. They can't score a field goal. You know what I mean? We tweak it up a bit. We lost out on one of the greatest games ever because it ended on a coin flip. You're right. It shouldn't be left to chance like that.
I mean, GOS about the sudden death. See, the old school sudden death that bothered me was his teams at that point win the coin toss and all they played for was to go down, play cop out, and kick a field goal. They didn't even attempt to score touchdowns. Pretty much, they would just. So that's why I felt like that needed to be changed. But I just feel like that. I mean, personally, I feel like both teams should at least get a crack at it, no matter what. And then I'm okay with sudden death after that. At the same time, Adam, I'm also. I mean, I'm cool with like another 10-minute quarter, I guess, like they do. Like that's the overtime rule now, anyway. In the regular season, another 10-minute quarter, just play it out, and whoever has the most points at the end, wins the game. I'm cool with either one. I just don't like, like you said, I don't like it being in the hands of a coin toss. So I'll say what's up to Lance in the chat also, man. Welcome back to the stream, man. Thanks
Not sure
for
who you are,
stopping
but what's up? What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. My thing, Mac, it's nothing against that. I just think that it, I want it more so for the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's like, okay, so now Bills fans go home because they can't match a field goal in a game where there's like another 17 minutes on the clock. At that point, why does it even matter to have a clock? All you need is timeouts, right? Why does the quarter matter? In the playoffs, at least, because if it doesn't matter, you're going to keep playing a football game anyway. So I just need it, for me, it's for it to work. I think you got two options for me that I think work. Either play it like a quarter, like if you're going to do it with the 2 timeouts and the condensed clock, because that's already putting pressure on you, right? Because teams are going in with normally 15-minute clocks in every quarter. Now you're playing with 10. That's minus 5 minutes that you normally don't have in a regular quarter. Plus minus 2 timeouts, which makes it more, I guess dicey to pick up the first down. So here we are. That's the first thing. You just play it like a regular quarter. The second thing is a match point for point, which they do now, but you don't get off on a touchdown. So, for example, you score a touchdown, the game's not over. I have a chance to score a touchdown, right? Now, if I don't score a touchdown, the game is over. But if I score a touchdown, that other team gets the ball, and now they have a chance to score. Whenever they score, I either have to match or get better than. So the game can continue going on like that as well. If you don't want to do the quarter atmosphere, I get it. You got all these things, but to me, it's just like, why even have a tie? Like, look at the Lions got gypped out of a win because they ended up in a tie. Like that to me is like, if I'm the Lions, while yes, you're the second, that tie put them in number 2 instead of number 1 in the draft, right? Because that tie, for whatever reason, pushed them to number 2 because of their record. So to me, it's like, well, I would, if I'm the Lions, I would either want that win or not want that win for my draft position. Now
real quick, without further ado, we're gonna bring in our other co-host. He has finally joined the stream.
Who is that?
Mr. Zion Zenith.
Oh,
Yo, I'm so tired. I just got up. My phone was on vibrate. Adam called me. He's probably super mad at me. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry, man. I'm tired, but I'm here, and it's
hour and late, I should say.
An hour and 13 minutes late, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah, well, be on time, as Tom Coughlin would say, or fine your ass $5,000.
I drank for the first time in 4 years last night, and it put me out like a light.
Not my problem, man.
The night missed my alarm clock for the show, but I'm here now.
Well, we love you that you're here, but we thought it was something tragic happening.
We're glad you're okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fine. I'm not hungover. I'm actually not hungover. I actually feel really great. I slept I was just fucking out. Sorry for swearing. Well, you guys don't want to hear that. Let's just talk about what you guys talking about.
No. We want to hear that because we didn't have such a crazy night like you, where we could just sleep till. I I was woken up by a 4-year-old at 7:30 in the morning. So there you go. Whether I drink beer or not, I have to get up and take care of him. So, but hey, anyways, just making some jokes, making some light. But we're right now to get you caught up since you were sleeping for an hour and a half of the show. We're talking about the end of the year NFL and the overtime rules, and then we'll probably talk about the draft going forward. I think Mac has a couple things left. So we still have some show left for you to join us. So why don't you take the mic and give us your thoughts on the overtime rule?
Yeah, I just think that the overtime rule could be changed in games that like is super high importance, like the playoffs. I just think having the ability to give the other team a chance to go down the field and score is, I get it. We don't want these games to get longer because football games are really long. But when it comes down to like games like in the playoffs, I think in the regular season, the overtime rule is fine. But when it comes to the playoffs, I just think that it should be more like college, where the other team, even though you get the ball first and you score a touchdown, the other team gets the ball at least one time to at least get that touchdown. If they don't match you, then the game's over. But I don't like this thing about, it goes down to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. 13 seconds. They could have defended it. They should have won that game, but unfortunately they didn't. And the Chiefs go down the field, kick a field goal, and takes it into overtime. And then you have a flip of a coin that, like a lot of people says, wow, a flip of a coin decided that game. I don't see a flip of the coin decided that game because obviously the Bills could have played defense. But the thing is, yeah, I get it in the sense of, it's such a good game, and to not have a chance to even touch the ball in overtime, the same thing when like we've seen so much games where like Tom Brady will get the ball in overtime and you really know the game's over. Like Tom Brady's gonna march down the field and score. So just having the ability to, even if you get scored upon a touchdown or a field goal, just you have one more drive. The team that just got scored upon gets one more drive. If they can't score there, then yeah, let's move on. But I just think that's what I would change about overtime. But I get it why it's such sensitive, because there's so much. The games are really so slow as is that they don't want to slow it down even more.
I think necessarily they want to slow it down more. I get it, they cost an injury, but I'm looking at it like, I know Giant Opinion Sports say take care of business at your house, but I look at it like if you have momentum like the Bills were, and if the Bill, like I'm sure Kansas City fans would have been the same way. Like, hey man, we got done because of field goal or a touchdown. We didn't get a chance to match, right? Like to me, it's like you're in the playoffs, the biggest game of your life. What in the hell? Sorry.
No, I feel that though.
What's going on? But no, what I'm saying is like, I just feel like if I'm that fan base, I'd be pissed off because I didn't get a chance to finish the game the way I wanted to finish the game, right? Because you think about it in the NFL, every score you get a kickoff. You don't even get a chance to get a kickoff to see if you can do a return or anything like that. It's just sudden death, and I get it. But like in the NBA, how come the NBA they can do 5 quarters and just play to the end of the quarter and have timeouts and just keep it rolling, right? And then they finally win. Baseball, they don't stop. They just keep playing innings until somebody finally wins. I mean, I watched 17-inning baseball once for the Oakland A's. The game didn't end until 2 a.m. our time. You know what I mean? Like,
but nothing against baseball and basketball, and I love your point. But baseball and basketball is not a physical sport.
I was going to say the same. I mean, football takes a lot more out on your body.
It's a lot more.
I get it. But at the same time, what does a tie do? How many teams have a tie this season? 2, right?
A lot of teams.
2 teams. Because they played each other. The Lions and the Steelers. So those
is that the only teams that tied this season?
Yeah.
I thought there was more for some reason.
So 2 teams tied in the entire league. So 30 out of 32 teams did not tie in the league. So you're telling me that we need to keep ties in the game because we don't want to play an extra inning, extra quarter? Give me a break. Like, come on, this is the NFL. You're going to a chance to go to the Super Bowl and move on to the playoffs, or a chance to advance your record, and we want to sit here and be like, oh, well, we're going to end it in a tie, or you could get a walk-off field goal because then you're not even playing the whole field. Maybe what they should do in sudden death is field goals. You can only score touchdowns and see how that goes because then no one can do that little short pass and get to the 35-yard line and just boot it for a field goal. Now you got to score, giving a chance for the defense to get a chance to get the ball back because I know that they say in the NFL if you drive down the field, there's more of a probability for a mistake to happen than it is on a big play, right? So if that's the case, eliminate the field goal so you can't just walk off field goal. You have to score a touchdown and you get a chance to match.
All right, bugging out in the chat.
As we hear a lighter go off on Zion's portion.
But as you guys know how y'all feel about the Giants offseason, what kind of philosophy you think what kind of approach Joe Shane should take going into free agency and the draft?
You could be
Zion, since you've been less on the mic than we have, I'm sure the 6 people watching want to hear your voice.
Mm-hmm.
I make fun of it, but I appreciate y'all watching.
Can you repeat the question, Mac?
Oh my God!
I just what you think? What type of approach do you think Joe Shane should take going into this offseason with the free agency and the draft? How he should maybe handle acquisitions, the balance you find between what you're looking for in free agency and the draft.
Joe Shane was taking. I'm just gonna stop. Okay, I believe that Joe Shane is I was going to say he's a good GM. That's so trash. Okay, hold on. We don't know if he's a good GM, right? I just think the direction he's going to make is he's not going to try to fix the offensive line. He's not going to try to fix the defensive line. He gets it. The fans want offensive linemen. The fan wants defensive linemen. But he's not going to go and sacrifice good players. If we're there at 7 and he sees a middle linebacker that they rank high enough to draft, I see him going after that middle linebacker. I see him going into this draft and taking the best available player. And Adam been talking about that, and I gave Adam shit for that. I said, no, Adam, we talked on the phone about that. I'm no, he needs to go, and he needs to go draft offensive lineman. Then I came to realize that I don't want to draft offensive lineman because guess what, guys? We're talking about all the goodness that's coming in this offensive line class. But guess what? There's going to be a lot of buses. And guess what? Our draft picks recently in recent years hasn't been the best. So pick 5 and pick 7 in the last 10 years has been phenomenal picks. Phenomenal. But at the end of the day, we can't just hold that and think that just because we pick 5 or just because we pick 7, we're going to get one of these elite players that we're talking about. Hey, guess what? Not all 10 players, not all top 10 players hit all the time. Not all of them hit. So I hopefully that what I think that should is just take the proper steps, the proper research.
Langston.
I think we're in good hands, but I just don't think that we should be forced on a position when, I'm sorry to bring this up, guys. I'm sorry to bring this up. Dude, if you want to go Pickett at 5 and they believe that Pickett is deserving of the 5th pick, it might piss off a lot of Giants fans. Malik Willis at 5. It might piss off a lot of Giants fans, but I just feel that I don't want this GM to baby these players and to be like, he just didn't have the right tools around him. It's like, no, you play for the NFL, bro. You play in the NFL. Like this whole Daniel Jones talk, bro. Stop babying Daniel Jones, Giants fans. The guy's a veteran quarterback, and he's not showing things that a quarterback should be showing. It has nothing to do with the offensive line. It has nothing to do with the wide receivers we have on the roster. It has to do with him and his ability to play quarterback. When we talk bad about Sterling Shepard because he's not seeing the field. And we harshly criticize the way these offensive linemen block. Why can't we do that to the offensive line, and we can do that to the wide receivers? But once we talk about Daniel Jones and we break down Daniel Jones' play at quarterback, everybody's like, "Well, he needs a team. It's a team game." So it brings me back to the point that Max asked. I think Joe should just get the best player here, and we don't need to fix the offensive line in the draft. We have free agency. We have a lot of ways to fix this offensive line. Don't reach. Don't just go because we need them. take the best available player that's gonna be a good player for our team, and that's not gonna put us forward rather than put us back. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let Mac go, but before I go, I just wanted to pull up this, like, to just let you guys know, like, how legit,
I just
how
want to say thanks to my man Langston Ware. He's a friend of mine. Thanks for listening to the show. Glad you can. You're one of my high school friends. We played football together.
It's good to see you in here, Langston. Appreciate you for stopping by too, brother.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna go over this real fast, and then you can have the mic, Adam. In 2021, going backwards, pick number 5, Jamar Chase, Tua Tagovailoa, Devin White, Bradley Chubb, Corey Davis, Jalen Ramsey, Brian Sheriff, the tackle from Washington, Khalil Mack, Ezekiel Ansah, Giants, defensive end, Justin Blackman, the Jaguars. Like, look at that. That is all players. 8 out of those 10 players, if not all 10 players, were hits. All right, let's go back to the number 7th pick. Starting from 2021, going backwards. Penicillin, Derek Brown, Josh Allen, the Bills, Josh Allen, obviously, in 18. The Jaguars, Josh Allen, in 19. Going back to 2017. Mike Williams, DeForest Buckner, Kevin White, the only motherfucker on this list that did not hit. Mike Evans, Jonathan Cooper, and Mark Byrne. Maybe Mark Byrne, the defensive back from Tampa, didn't hit, but that's, again, 8 out of 10 players at pick 7 that hit. So when we have picks 5 and pick 7, don't waste it on just because we need that. I want to go after the best available player. Hopefully I answered that question correctly, and I'll pass the mic to Adam.
Well, I don't know how to really follow up with that other than I look at it like this, right? We got to figure out, what Joe Shane's plan is. Because if this is a throwaway year, and I know people are going to hate me with this, and Daniel Jones like kryptonite apparently for this fan base. You mentioned him, and oh my God, you're going to get the hate. You're going to get canceled on YouTube because you're talking about Daniel Jones. But no, my point here is,
thank you, Philippi.
If Joe Shane decides that this is a throwaway year and you're going to rebuild, then why am I rebuilding with a guy who I'm not even certain is going to be here next year? I'm just saying, like, we're saying, and I'm not talking about 2022 because obviously he's probably going to be here, but if he's not going to be your quarterback in 2023 and you're going to have a lost season and you're going to say to us, well, we have a chance to get a quarterback of the future, then why am I wasting time with Daniel Jones? Why am I not going to get something for him and say, hey, man, I love you, we like you here, but we don't want you to waste your time and ours because we're going to have a lost season. And if the Giants have a lost season regardless, they're getting rid of Daniel Jones. I don't care if he throws up gangbusters, right? I don't care if he blows up the NFL. If they go 6-10 or 7-10, that's it. You know what I mean? That's it for Daniel Jones. If it's going to be a reflection on the team. I don't want to hear excuses next year where they're like, well, Daniel Jones had a good season, but no, it's going to reflect on the record. You're going to have to figure it out because if you're in that position to get a quarterback, it also becomes financial, right? Because guess what? Next year, if they give him the 5th-year option, which some people are saying on the radio to do that, some people in the local media here are saying to give it to him, which would be $21 million as opposed to possibly the 25 plus, 26 plus you give him on a franchise tag. They're like, oh, you could do that because you have more cap space. Well, guess what? If he stinks, I'm on the hook for $21 million, right? As opposed to, hey, let me put the franchise tag on and we can negotiate this going forward. But with that being said, do you want to now give up all your money while you're trying to build this team to now the quarterback positions and now you're weak in other positions? You know what I mean? My point is that if you're going to throw away this year, which they say that they're going to compete, but we all know that it's a real rebuild. They're tearing it down. We're going to find out what they do in free agency because that'll kind of navigate you as to how they're going to approach this year. If Barkley is in trade rumors, they're probably going to get rid of him. If they cut James Bradbury and all these guys to get them to $40 million, what type of team do we have left to field out there? So now you're going to put all this pressure on a coach and the GM to rectify this guy, and you're going to have a bad season, and then you're going to try to tell the fan base next year, oh, yeah, we're going to keep Daniel Jones. You're going to have a mutiny on your hands. So my point is, if you're going to have a losing season, it's better for Daniel Jones to have a clean slate, go someplace else where he's probably more appreciated, and they're going to do more for him, right? Especially since you're not going to have any in money tied to him. Because that becomes the main focal point. We're trying to build the team for the future to be a winner, not next year. This is what we did with Eli. This is what we did with Eli Manning. We didn't bring in coaches that were progressive. We brought in coaches that were going to fix him today so we can win now. We don't need to do that. We need to build the team as if Daniel Jones is not going to be here, and you're bringing in somebody else, and you want to build that team so that the next person that comes in here that is a quarterback, whoever that may be, has a ready-made team for them, right? By drafting an offensive lineman, by bringing in free agent guys. I'm telling you, people, they're losing free agents this year, a whole boatload of them. Whether you like them or not, they're losing a lot, right? They have to get into a 90-man roster. There's going to be a ton of linemen in here. Whether you like them or not or know who they are is irrelevant. It's whether they produce on Sundays, right? So you're going to tell me that a rookie's going to come in here. And by the way, did we forget about Andrew Thomas's rookie season? He wasn't good for eight and a half weeks. 8.5 weeks, he wasn't good. We had people say he's a bust. Throw him out. The next Eric Flowers, right? Yeah. So now you want a guy who's going to come in here, be a rookie, and mess up the whole thing, and then my quarterback, who I don't know if he can take chaos when chaos happens behind him, to lose more confidence. I just don't think it's a winning situation for Daniel Jones. I think the best thing for him would be for the Giants to let him go and start fresh somewhere else, where they're like, listen.
Well, if I can touch it, let me weigh in on the Daniel Jones.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I'm cool. It's not quite as strong as you guys with Daniel Jones. Like, I'm okay with him coming back as our starting quarterback this year. What I would like to see in this free agency somehow is maybe we bring in a legitimate backup quarterback. I mean, a legitimate one, not Mike Glennon, not Mike Glennon, not Jacob Fromm. Somebody legit, so that in the event that Daniel Jones is who a lot of us seem to think he is, and he ends up sucking again, regardless, as we're trying to build this team back up, we got somebody else we can plug in. And even if need be, we got to go into next year drafting a quarterback. We got maybe another guy here that in a pinch we can maybe even start the season with next year.
Max, you're on my level.
If that's what we need to do. But I hate to reference these guys because I really hate the Dallas Cowboys. But I feel like we should definitely build our offensive line similar to how they did, which was straight through the draft mostly. They were just plucking these guys like off of a tree, it felt like. And they built that offensive line to be what it was. And it's not quite the same now, but it's still pretty damn good. And I'm more in that line as far as instead of just going out and overpaying a ton of free agents to come in and play offensive line for us, I'd rather really try to get this thing right through the draft. I'm not saying go out there and spend all your draft capital on offensive linemen. I'm just saying make the right picks, though. And let's get some guys in here that we can really build this foundation, get this foundation built up the right way, man. And like I said, I really hate giving the Cowboys any type of credit, but I think they really did do that the right way. They absolutely nailed it when they put those guys, when they had built that really superior offensive line that they had for a few years. And I just feel like, but the Daniel Jones thing, like I totally, it's like what I said, man. We gotta bring somebody in here that's not only gonna push Daniel Jones, but in the event that Daniel Jones is who we think we are, can step in and win us some football games, maybe, or just at least be competent and get us through the remainder of the season if need be. And like I said, potentially, if need be, start the season off for a young in place and while we're getting a young quarterback next year that we may acquire in the draft next year, ready to go. But if you guys,
I like, honestly, guys, I wouldn't mind if Daniel Jones is our quarterback next year. I wouldn't mind it. But what I want to just emphasize is I am tired of Giants fans babying this quarterback. Okay, we can go down a checklist. Okay, and he's gonna only hit probably not even half of this checklist. And for a veteran quarterback in the league, we shouldn't having to go down a checklist. We can go like when you really look at a quarterback, right, and you really break it down, right. What is really good about a quarterback? Let's just mention some, okay? His field vision, all right? His mobility, his obviously his foot quickness, his step up quickness, his ball handling, his game management, his leadership, his FBI, his football intelligence. You know what I'm saying? His touch, obviously his accuracy, his delivery, his release quickness, his arm strength, his poise in the pocket. And obviously, his college offensive scheme before that doesn't even matter. Forget that last one. Anyhow, long story short, like if you look at everything I just mentioned, okay, Daniel Jones still struggles in his third year with everything I just mentioned. And I'm tired of just judging him like a baby quarterback, like a quarterback that needs a chance. Now, guess what? It's the football league. It's the National Football League. You don't get that much chances. Hey, Daniel Jones, if you're the quarterback of this team next year, you need to step the fuck up and start acting like it. Because guess what, bro? Guess what? I'm tired of hanging my head on my head, holding my hands over my eyes, and hopefully you don't throw an interception. I don't care. Dude, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I do not want to hear it, Daniel Jones. I do not want to hear it. If other quarterbacks around the league can actually play position that quarterback and capitalize on every one of those damn things I just hit on the damn list, why can't you, Daniel Jones? Why can't you? So you need to step up, and I'm tired of this. It's a team game. It's a team game. He needs right pieces around him. Guess what? He does. It is a key game, but he's fucking up at his job. His job alone.
Damn,
and I'm not mad at Daniel Jones.
Tell you
I'm
how
not mad at Daniel Jones, but let's just be honest here, bro. You're an average quarterback. You need to play better. No matter who you have around you.
You know, Giant Opinion Sports is saying we bash Daniel Jones. Well, guess what? What has he done for us not to bash him? What has he done for me to not criticize him? What has he done for me to not overanalyze his game? Because if this is anybody else, he's already been hitting the bricks.
And that's why I'm analyzing. That's why we're over-analyzing here, right, Adam?
Right. I'm just saying we're sitting here, you know, I ask questions and Giant fans scream at me. I don't even say he's good or anything. My head gets bit off. Just trade him. We're not saying that. Okay. Yes. I don't know. Yes. I don't understand why we can't sit here and criticize a guy whose play hasn't been the best. It's not like I'm talking about a guy who's a Super Bowl MVP or has won a ton of games for us. We're talking about a guy who not many people liked when he was drafted. Yes. Okay. They had a surprise season, and everybody's now, you know, saying, yeah, he had a great season, but he had turnovers. The year he comes back, he's in this system that doesn't work for him, but yet somehow doesn't improve and only goes backwards. Okay, and then we have him in the same system a year later, and guys who had 700 yards in that system, Darius Slayton, have no yards. And we want to talk about, well, the offensive line. I get it. The offensive line is bad.
Facts.
The offensive line is bad. What has the org done to help them? Let's see. They brought in Kenny Golladay. They brought in Kyle Rudolph this year. They brought in Kadarius Toney this year, right? They thought the offensive line was going to be good this year. People, do we need to rehash past history as to what happened on this team? They made a faux pas. Yes, they made a mistake, but you can also get how good a player is going to be within some of this mess. Okay, there was a time last year that Daniel Jones had time and still threw a botched pass. And I'm going to blame the coaching staff because he decides to throw a bad pass at an inopportune time or miss a throw. I'm not saying he can't miss a throw, but I'm just saying it's more so than just the offensive line and let's give him a chance. Because I am going with you guys. I am giving Daniel Jones a chance. So if I give him a chance, I'm allowed to criticize his ass.
But that's why I'm on the train. Here's why I feel, because like I said, my Daniel Jones stance is, like I said, I feel like strongly that he's better than any quarterback coming out in this draft class. Absolutely feel like that he's a better option for us next year than any of these quarterbacks coming out in this draft class. But with that being said, that's why I'm with the bringing a competent backup that can truly push him and make him look over his shoulder and let him understand that, look, this job we're not just handing you this job. If he outplays you, then look at Russell Wilson's rookie season. The Seahawks had just paid Matt Flynn. Big old contract to come in and be their starter. He got outplayed by the third-round draft pick, and the third-round draft pick got the damn job. And that's just what it is. So bring in somebody competent that can push this man and make him really earn it.
I mean, not Tennessee, the Raiders. The Raiders. They brought in the guy because they were fearing that Derek Carr wasn't going to be the guy. So they brought in Marcus Mariota to push his ass. They did the same thing in Tennessee when they brought in Ryan Tannehill because the guy was on the same trajectory as Daniel Jones. He was often injured, not being able to finish the season. So they wanted to bring in a competent backup. So God forbid something happened, they wouldn't be drowning. Well, guess what? Mariota went down. Tannehill came in. They reached the playoffs, and the rest is history. They shipped them away. So my point is, I want to give Daniel Jones a chance. And
Yes.
I know that people are going to be like, oh, you're bashing him, boo, boo, hoo, Daniel Jones. I don't give a damn. I bash Saquon Barkley as well for not being the running back that was advertised. The whole team stinks.
Look at it this way. I don't think that Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. Matt Ryan, you look at all the receivers Matt Ryan had in his NFL career, and you question, like, how the hell didn't you make a Super Bowl? Well, you made one, but you didn't. How the hell didn't you make more Super Bowls? You know what I'm saying? Like, how the hell did Matt Ryan, with all of the wide receivers he had in his career, not at least make it to more than one, right? And honestly, I really think this. If Matt Ryan was on the Giants last year, we would have won 6 games during Matt Ryan. We literally, I truly believe that Matt Ryan would have got 6 games out of this team, right? The fact that I have a problem with Daniel Jones is if things go wrong, it's just he doesn't. There's barely any game that he just shakes it off. Like I'm not saying he doesn't shake it off. Yes, we've seen him shake it off a lot of times. You've seen him go down there and drive the ball a lot of times. But there's a lot of other quarterbacks in this league that when they throw an interception or when they get a fumble, they just don't look off for the rest of the game. Like Daniel Jones would throw an interception in the second quarter and just look completely off for the rest of the game. It's like as a 6th round draft pick in the first round, like we're all judging him like, dude, you got drafted at 6, step up. But besides the point, you're a quarterback in the NFL, bro. Like when are we gonna stop babying this guy? Like literally, how is your confidence level for all you guys that really or truly have his back and want to stick by him? Like, dude, look at the way he operates the pocket. Like, let's just be real.
Here's the thing.
Let's just be real.
GOS, and I'm not trying to pick on you or anything like that. He's saying, this team needs to give Daniel Jones a fair evaluation. Well, guess what? You have to add up all the games in this evaluation that he's played in. And you have to use that as the evaluation as well. You can't just throw them out and say, well, he didn't have an offensive line, so we're just going to throw out the 3 years of the 3 years he's played previous in the NFL. That's not how evaluations go. You have to look at everything that he's done. Has he improved? What has he improved on? What did he regress on? Did he regress on some of the things that they asked him to do? Does he throw touchdowns? Was it all his fault in the red zone? These are things the coaches are going to have to answer these questions, not us. Okay, and what I'm seeing out of Daniel Jones and my evaluation is he hasn't grown in 2 years. There hasn't been things that were like, oh, okay, Daniel, I see it. Let's go. All I'm saying, you people are cultists. All I'm saying is, I don't know what. I'm just telling.
All I have to say is, real fast, Adam. Sorry, continue.
No, what I'm saying is like you want to evaluate him on last year. Okay, he got injured. He's got injured every year these past 3 years. Okay, he doesn't throw many touchdowns. He doesn't do a lot of things that we need him to do as a quarterback. But we want to just say, well, last year we'll just throw it out with the bathwater. By the way, do we forget that he was injured or pretend injured, whatever you want to call it? So there's 6
right
games.
quick, guys. Buko just put up a really good comment up here. Because I was going to actually bring this up a little bit, but he already beat me to the punch.
Buko.
Everyone's going back to Daniel Jones' rookie year as hope. And Baker Mayfield had a great rookie year, and he's caca. Rookie year means nothing.
Exactly.
It's starting to look like that.
And here's the thing, too. I love Mac's point. I love Mac's point about Daniel Jones is a better quarterback.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, Giants Opinion Sports. I'm not. No one's putting words in your mouth. Yeah. I'm just taking
all of these quarterbacks coming up.
Just taking what you're saying and evaluating. I'm sorry. I'm just.
No, you did. You please explain yourself.
Addressing him. I'm not. No one said throw it out. All we're saying is evaluations are happening. You brought up a great discussion. There's nothing about it. You can call me a cultist, whatever you want. I have no ill will towards you. Nothing. All I'm saying is that I'm just saying people get mad at Daniel Jones. We're still having a conversation about why.
Appreciate you, bro.
Buko's right.
Here and talking and having a good conversation.
Throwing what all that.
I don't know. Cultist. You people cultist. I'm a cultist too. I always wanted to be a cultist. No, I'm sorry, no,
GOS, man.
Hey, we appreciate you being here, Giants Opinion
We'll
Sports.
be throwing the link up in the chat if you want to come on, and you can.
What's up, Chris? I love it.
You can get your point. You can get your point across in a few. I throw up the link in the chat in a little bit.
Yes, please come on and clarify,
if you
because I
want
don't want to put
yeah.
words or act like I'm putting words or making it seem like I don't value your opinion or anything like that. All I'm saying is we're having a conversation about Daniel Jones, and we have to talk about the whole kit and caboodle. Like Buko said, you can't just base it on hope and that he didn't have a chance. There are times when he had chances in games that he didn't do well in, and that's not bad to say. I want the kid to do well. I've said that a million times. I want him to do well. He does well, the Giants do well. But you've got to ask yourself, is this kid in our future? If he is, what are we going to do to help him? Okay, we get an offensive line. Now, if the offensive line struggles, guess what's happening? Guess what's happening if we are 1-3, 1-4 out the gate because the offensive line needs time to gel and the defense needs some time to gel, and Daniel Jones is only being pedestrian numbers. What's going to happen? Everyone and their mother is going to be like, get rid of him. We shouldn't have drafted this. And God forbid, and this will be the worst that it happens, God forbid Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett do anything this year, right? Do anything this year. We think that they're bad, but if they do anything this year and we're middle of the road and they happen to be on a team that's middle of the road, but they're, making electrifying plays, we're going to sit here as a fan base and be like, damn, we should have got the guy. And my only thought process is looking at the future.
That's all it is with me too, and I love Mac's point bringing up on Daniel Jones is better than all these guys coming up right now, and that's absolutely right. And I love Mac's point on bringing in a veteran quarterback to get some competition in there. Me and Adam, we're down for that. Like we really are. It's not like we're trying to give Daniel Jones his bags, buy him a bus ticket, and ship him out of town. Like. We're not trying to say that when we say about Daniel Jones, guys. All we're trying to say is the way I look at it, not to use Mac's point, but I'm going to use Mac's point. We know what Daniel Jones is. Actually, we don't know what Daniel Jones is. And that's sad because we're in a damn fourth year, okay? You have someone, now I'm not saying Mike is going to be some greatness, but we had someone that worked with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, the future of the NFL in Patrick Mahomes. He worked with him one-on-one. We had a guy in Brian Dable that worked with Josh Allen one-on-one. Some people will put Josh Allen right up there in the top 5 and when all these veterans retire, and Josh Allen has proven to be there. You know what I'm saying? So I rather, since I as a fan, I am just so uncomfortable right now with Daniel Jones under center, Daniel Jones in the shotgun. I'm just super uncomfortable with it. I don't care how this offensive line looks like. He's still making bad decisions back there. And if he is back there, I'm gonna root for him. I'm gonna want him to succeed.
Exactly.
If he's back there, I'm not there hoping he fails. I'm there hoping he throws 40 touchdowns. I'm there hoping he drives us to a damn win. I hope we can go on multiple win streak here. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that we can. But all I'm saying is, for me as a Giants fan, and what I've seen over the last 3 years, and if I had to evaluate him by a player, I was the very one fighting for him in this offseason about the offensive line, fighting for him about the receivers. And guess what? Sometimes in the NFL, things don't gel. But just because the 2021's Giants was the shit stock of the NFL and probably of the NFL in history, probably one of the worst teams, you know what I'm saying? Kind of exaggerating there. We had some bad teams.
We're the worst team, yet we don't have the first pick in the draft.
Right? And the thing is, like, I just look at it like why can't we bring in someone like Pickett, and literally we're gonna bring in Pickett and he has a whole year. We know we're not expected to win, and this is a foundation year. We're not trying to go anywhere. That's 1 year that we can develop Pickett rather than 1 year wasted with Daniel Jones, and at the end of the season he has 19 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, and the same fans that are saying keep Daniel Jones are going to be the same fans that are saying draft the quarterback, but then we're going to be 1 year behind. And then Pickett Willis is the MVP in 5 years. Everybody's going to think back of this season and be like, oh yeah, we should have took. I'm tired of that shit.
I mean, he could be a bust too. He could be a bust too.
He could be a bust too. They all could be a bust too. But guess what? Everybody's just judging these quarterbacks. I was judging these quarterbacks just 2 months ago. I was on stream saying that these quarterbacks are suck. You know, they're not as good. I'm judging these quarterbacks, and well, wait, they're not the best class. They're not the best class. I understand that, but we're judging them based off of the collisions days, and not based off of. We don't know what this coaching staff is yet, but not based off being in-house and learning from NFL coaches.
Right.
And
You're
I
absolutely
believe
right.
I believe that the NFL coaches that we have on staff, I believe that Rick Mortendale is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. That he can be over there, and when the defense is on the field, that's his team. That's his team. He's controlling that team. And Mike and Brian can be right there like Sean McVay did when he had Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips ran that defense. He trusted in Wade Phillips the same way. Rick Mortendale is the defensive coordinator. When the defense is on the field, that's his team. Yo, Brian Daboll and Mike will be on the bench right there at Pickett, right there at Willis, with the tablet, breaking it down. Right there with Daniel Jones, with the tablet, breaking it down. Like, why would we invest? Like, I get it. I get it why Daniel Jones is probably going to be our starter next year and will probably be our starter next year. But why would they invest in a veteran that they need a fix, that they need to teach him how to do more things right than wrong, that has to fix? There's a lot of pros and cons with Daniel Jones. It's a project. When you can go out there, we just clean house and go get a player and shape them into that player you want it to be, whether it be a Pickett, whether it be a Willis. We're not going anywhere this season. We're not heading to the playoffs. So this is the season that you take, and you let your rookie make those mistakes. And you let your rookie go out there and people say, don't throw him to the fire. That's failure. You don't want to break him before. Nah. Whether he wants to sit, maybe we keep Daniel Jones and he sits behind Daniel Jones or something. But no matter the point, I just think that, I'm just tired of the mistakes at the quarterback position. And sometimes it goes down to the quarterback and it doesn't come down to the offensive line and the Giants and the receivers. I'm just really trying to think unbiased here and trying to think like how I love the NFL, man. And how much average, I'm serious, how much average quarterbacks, you guys want to talk about Daniel Jones maybe being a franchise? How much average quarterbacks won the Super Bowl, really? In 56 Super Bowls, how much average quarterbacks really won the Super Bowl? Maybe less than 7, if not less than 5. Why not? Daniel is an average quarterback. Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. He needs to improve. He needs to get better. I'm not going to baby him. I'm going to let you know how I feel. And that's what it is.
If I could chime in real quick, only thing I'd say that I disagree with you slightly is with the rookie quarterback. If we bring a rookie quarterback in, and Daniel Jones, like I said, is what a lot of us think he is, and he starts shitting the bed, and then you got to put this rookie in who's not ready to perform, who's not truly ready to perform, because Daniel Jones hasn't done enough where the crowd's going to be behind him. After a couple of turnovers, they're going to be, get this guy out of here. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
If you didn't get that pressure to then put a rookie in that's not ready, that's why I'm more with the bringing in a competent veteran backup. If we have to go that route, I feel better with at least a more veteran backup, more competent guy that's ready to at least NFL ready now, not a guy that's still a complete project, which I think these quarterbacks coming out in this draft class, they're all projects. I don't see any of them as coming in right now day one NFL starters. But
and to your point, I would love I love it, and your facts, you're right on that. I would love to bring in a Marcus Mariota. I would love to bring in a Nick Foles. I don't know where he's at now. They're not quarterbacks that's really gonna be like, ooh yeah, he's coming to the Giants. But I would be excited about a Marcus Mariota. That's a proven quarterback. Adam brought up Mitchell Trubisky. As much as I don't like Mitchell Trubisky, if you have Mitchell Trubisky and Daniel Jones on the team, okay, let them battle it out. I totally understand that point. I love it. Tyron Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, exactly.
You got any more thoughts on this, Adam? Is he still Adam right there?
Not really. I mean, we can go back and forth with Daniel Jones all we want. It's time to move on to somebody else, because all I'm looking at it like this: if the Giants are having a year where they're not going to be good, I don't think you should just subject him to the scrutiny that's going to come with a bad year. Regardless of what we think about him. Financially, we know they're not going to keep him, because if you get a new quarterback 5 years from now, you reset that 5-year clock for the money. And if you're going to want to win next year and bring in more players, you don't want to allocate $20-something million to a guy you're not sure of yet. So to me, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I don't want this to be an attack one way or the other. I don't care one way or the other. I want somebody that's competent that plays quarterback for the Giants. Right now, the guy that we have is not doing a great job from what I've seen. And yes, we're going to give him a fair evaluation this year, but I just don't think it's going to be as fair as we think if they're already conceding in the way that they're talking that we're going to have a bad year, right? And we're going to need to work on our whole thing. So for me, I know people don't want to talk about that. I'll let Daniel Jones be because it's a sore subject to most. And now I will want to talk about a guy, and we'll do roster evaluations since we're already on here. Saquon Barkley, trade him or keep him? You guys deliberate.
Well, look, here I go. Saquon Barkley, man. I wanted to work here with Saquon Barkley. I am a big Saquon Barkley guy. I wanted to work out. I don't want to just ship this guy off for a bill of goods because I don't want to ship him off and watch him absolutely dominate on another team, another system, and know that we had that guy here in this building and he's a generational talent that we couldn't keep, we couldn't do right by him. You know what I mean? I don't want to go down. I don't want it to go down like that. And Saquon Barkley, to me, people can say what they want when we drafted him. You don't take a running back that high. Saquon Barkley in the 2018 draft was the best player, number one rated player in the draft. Straight up. If it wasn't for the whole quarterback thing, he probably would have been number one overall pick and would have been playing in Cleveland. But they needed the quarterback. They took Baker. We took the highest evaluated player in that draft class. I get it. You don't usually go out on the limb and take those running backs that early, and we still needed offensive line help. But sometimes when you got an opportunity to get the best player available, you got to take the best player available. And I know he's had some injuries that have kept him, has slowed him down the last couple of years. But we all know what a healthy Saquon Barkley can do. But one thing we don't know is what Saquon Barkley can do behind a competent offensive line, because he has never ran a single play in his NFL career behind one. So I'm on the Saquon. I love Saquon Barkley, and I don't just want to get rid of him. At the same time, this is a business. I understand, and if we can get, if you can get a good enough deal, you got to make the tough decisions, man. So I'm a New York Giant fan before I'm an individual Saquon Barkley fan. With that being said, I definitely want to hang on to Saquon Barkley and keep him here if we can. If that's possible, I want to keep him on this roster.
I love that statement and as a whole, but one thing I love about that statement the most when you said that I'm a New York Giants fan before I'm a Saquon Barkley fan. And Saquon Barkley is one of my favorite players in the league, my favorite Giant. And at the end of the day, I love that statement because that's facts. But I just think that, I'm right on there, Mac. Like, we can't find, I get it. Giants fans, he's been injury prone. I get it. He hasn't seen the field. I'm not going to sit here and judge him off of his rookie season because I just can't do that because it'll be me being a hypocrite because I'm telling Giants fans not to judge Daniel Jones off of his rookie season. But what I can say
there's a difference there, though. His rookie season was sensational.
Yes, it was
Daniel
sensational.
Jones' rookie season was just solid statistically. Saquon was sensational.
That's true, and that's with a mediocre offensive line. This guy never really had a great offensive line, and yeah, I'm still gonna use that as an excuse for Barkley. I don't use it as an excuse for Jones because guess why? Because Barkley shown the ability to actually play his position, elite. All he needs is that offensive line. He's shown that. We know what Barkley is. We don't know what he is now with another injury, and obviously, but long story short, we're not gonna get a running back at that level for the price. If they want to offer us a first, I'm sorry, I like you, Barkley, but give us that first. You know what I'm saying?
It's a business,
but
so yeah,
it's a business. But if they're not gonna offer a first, I'm gonna keep Barkley. I think he's cheap. He's value. He's value for the price that we're gonna pay him. We can't get a running back at his level, and I'm gonna keep it short and simple. And I'm gonna say I like Barkley. I want to keep him.
What you got, Adam?
Sorry, running around taking care of two kids. So, and doing the show, multitasking, mother flippins. No, but seriously, I say do what you're doing with Jones. Get rid of him. Why are we going to keep a guy who's not necessarily going to be here next year? If you got he's $7 million in the cap. $7 million in the cap.
Wait, can I ask you real fast? What running back will you find for $7 million that's gonna perform like Barkley?
I don't know, but I know that there's other backs that I can find in the draft that can be serviceable. I mean, like we're not talking about we're talking about Barkley, right? But what did he do last year? And I know everyone's going to say, well, we're going to give him a new thing. I get it. But if I can get value, you guys are got to see the point. The forest through the trees is they want more bites of the apple. They want to have more draft picks going forward because that's how you build your team. And the only guys that are going to net players right now is Barkley. Now, if they keep him, fine. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy him being because that's what Big Blue City, what's going on? That's what I want. I want them to keep Barkley, but if push comes to shove, like you said, it's a business. So if they see him go, I need draft picks. I need draft picks more now than I need Saquon Barkley here. To be honest,
I like that. I feel you. And can I just ask you, Adam, real fast?
Yes.
Because for me, I'm not trading him unless it's a first, and I'll even go maybe top 3 second. But other than that, I'm keeping Barkley. What is the minimum you'll go for Barkley?
I'm going for a second or a third or a couple seconds and a couple thirds because guess what? He's injury prone. So no one's going to come back and be like, they're going to pay you this. They're going to be like, we're taking on $7 million, A. B, we're taking on a running back that you don't even know is completely healthy, right?
True.
Has been injury prone all his career here, minus the one season his rookie year. So now you want me to like now trade you a high-end draft pick for that? The best I think they're going to get is a second-round pick or multiple seconds or multiple thirds. And so for me, like I said, even Big Blue City said it. If you get two, right? So to me, it's like in free agency we're forgetting about. We just keep going to the draft, and this is how you're going to get under $40 million. And in order for the Giants to even do anything, they need to get rid of some talent. And in order to I rather get rid of Barkley now than not get rid of him and have him at the end of the season. He walks, has a big year, and has mad money given to him by another team, and we get nothing for him. Maybe a comp pick, but like, how do we know we don't get something for him now? Or trade him halfway through the year. All the guys I'm talking about right now, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, I feel like have an 8-game audition. If the Giants are 4-4 in the first 8 games, they'll be here. If they are like 1-7 or 2-6 or something like that, bye-bye, trade deadline, see you later. Because to me, if these guys aren't part of your future, which Barkley is going to command a lot of money. I know people are like, oh, well, next year you're going to have money to spend. You're not going to have that money to spend because you're going to be allocating to other players. You're going to bring in other players here. You're going to want to make trades. You're going to want to pay some guys, right? So are you going to be paying both your quarterback and running back at the same time? No. So go get something for your players. I just want to me, I look at it like this. Just bare bones the whole thing. Just clean out house, gut it from all the regime that you can. Keep the players that are here that are young, the Azeez Ojularis of the world, the Ellerson Smith, a couple of guys on their first and second year contracts, and just build the team young in your identity, right? Because let's be honest, again, I'm not thinking they're going to win. Max games 8, and if that doesn't get them to the playoffs, now we're talking about a number 15 pick in the draft. And for all we know, they could trade number 7. No one's talking about that. Number 5, whatever the case may be, to get more picks. It'll really depend on how the free agency goes.
I think you're right on that. I think a lot of people are talking about it though, like about trading. I know we're not talking about it right now, but I think that conversation is one of those picks is gonna be traded up, and I can see that happening totally. I can see it being the 7th pick. It might be the 5th pick. Would you guys get mad if you take that 5th pick, move up to 9, and we take that 7th pick and probably get a couple of picks later on? Like, would you guys be opposed to that? Or is there a player that you guys really want that can only be taken in the top 10?
Well, I don't know how true this is, but I think Buko's told me when we had a conversation that it's going to cost you about $20 million to sign your rookie. If that's the case, half of that money that you already allocated for free agency is going to rookies. Now, if you trade out of that 7th pick, maybe that's $15 million going to rookies. You have an extra
That's a good point because the higher you get picked, the more money you're guaranteed. So, as the Giants, would you exactly?
So top 10 money is going to be expensive for 2 top 10 picks that you're picking. And if you don't think, like, for example, if you like Lloyd, Karolakis, and Ojobo, and somebody's like, yo, I want to call you for a quarterback, which one of those guys you think you're going to get at 12 or 13? If you think you can get the same quality player or those guys at 12 or 13, then you move down and make that trade, right? And then you still have your guy on that long-term deal that you want, and you get to build a foundational piece for your defense. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants to
Yes.
move on to another player. The straight James Bradbury talk, right? Does this mean if we cut James Bradbury, we're going to go for a corner? What do you guys think?
No, I don't want that. No, please don't. Please cut James Bradbury, but please don't go for a corner. I just think that we don't need to. There's no point. Like we have cornerbacks on this roster that could step up. I just think what we need to go for is like middle linebackers because I think middle linebackers is super important and super important to Rick Martindale's scheme. I think we have proven veterans. Some of his rookies, I get it, but I think Adoree Jackson could step up. I think Robertson could step up. I think Williams could step up, and I'm totally spacing that.
Look, we need the whole damn team. We need the whole damn team to
Holmes,
step
you know what
up.
I'm saying? Like
Whole
exactly.
damn
There's a
team
lot
needs to
of
step up.
there's a exactly. But what I don't want to happen in Adam's point is okay, we get rid of Bradbury, but we're drafting a cornerback at 7. Like you can miss me with that.
All right, you guys. If you got, I want to start maybe get ready to segue away from here, but if you got any more final thoughts about just NFL season in general or the Giants in general, 21 season, we can either give some final thoughts or I can segue into one more topic and then we can start taking some calls.
Go ahead, man. Let's segue on something else.
Well, I just one little thing I wanted to do, man, because I like to salute greatness, man, and the Winter Olympics coming to an end, man. A great career has come to an end as well, man. Shaun White has competed in his final Olympic Games, man. Snowboard has been She's been at the top of his game for many, many years, man. I like to always acknowledge great athletes, man, and great performers, people that have entertained me over the years. I like to always salute to them, give them their props they deserve, man. He just came just short of the podium this year in his final Olympic Games. Just missed the bronze medal by by a very small. This is a very narrow margin too. It was kind of heartbreaking, but he gave it his all at the age of 35 out there on that half pipe on that snowboard, man, and still getting the job done, man. So salute to Shaun White, man. Guys, got any more thoughts? Any thoughts on him?
Greatness is personified in that guy. He's like the Tony Hawk of snowboarding, and it's sad to see, but I think this will be a better opportunity for him. He'll get to be able to probably commentate or be around the game a little bit, be around the sport a little bit more. Won't have to train as much and be in endorsements. I mean, he's an icon in that particular field, just like Tony Hawk is. Tony Hawk's still around. People see him on like commercials and cameos and shows and things like that. Shaun White, this is maybe goodbye, but it isn't farewell. You know what I mean?
Facts on that. Beautifully said by both of you guys. He's the only snowboarder I know, and just goes to show how much he meant for the sport, and obviously like growing up and hearing his name and knowing who he is and seeing him rip those half pipes, man. Those I wasn't he the one that do the like kind of like Tony Hawk, but Tony Hawk did that 900. Wasn't he like the first guy to do some crazy ass spin or something like that?
1080, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I love the recognition, Mac. Good point. I love that you brought it up. And
one more person to recognize, Martin Truex Jr. We've been giving you updates throughout the show about the NASCAR. I know people are laughing, but NASCAR is a sport. That's what we do. We talk about sports out here. My man Martin Truex Jr. is 12. He's 11.
Let's get it.
He's under a top 10, which we need him in the top 10, people. I need your vibes to get Martin Truex Jr. in the top 10. So
is that the FedEx driver?
Yes, so he can finish with points going forward. But just wanted to give you the update on that since it's going on. I want to give a shout out to that sport because this is their Super Bowl, and let's get it.
Oh, the Daytona's going on right now.
And
yes, you're sleeping through half of it.
And just like I said, one more just showing what, like I said, great things in the sport, in the extreme sports world. Period. The X Games, the Olympics, the snowboarding. He also did the skateboarding too. Shaun White, man, just like I said, salute to a great career, man. Great athlete through the years. It was fun to watch this guy, man, with that red hair flying through the air, man, with all those crazy, amazing trips or bangers, what they like to call them in that world of extreme sports. I don't know, but
there's another banger.
Like I said, I just dropped the stream in the chat. If anybody wants to
call in, people, we can talk about anything. Even the USFL season starting up April 16th. Just watching commercials on TV with this NASCAR going on. So I don't know how you guys feel about USFL. I said at the beginning I'm going to watch it because I'm a football junkie, and maybe there's some guys we know in there, or maybe we will see some of these guys in the NFL. But anyways, call in. Let us know your thoughts on Shaun White. NASCAR if you like, the dunk contest, whatever else we talked about the NFL season.
Since you were still asleep, Zion, do you have any thoughts on the dunk contest?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't. Well, don't watch it.
I heard it.
Unless you want to poke your eyes out.
Unless you want to go back to sleep.
I heard it sucked. Was it really that bad?
Zion, it was absolutely that bad and worse.
Terrible. By the way, Martin Truex Jr. is now in the 4th position with basically 75 laps to go, but 5 laps left in stage 2.
When's the last time he pitted? Oh, only 5 laps. Not right. It was only 5. It's still stage 2. Never mind.
This is extensive NASCAR talk right here, baby.
Oh, when he's in 3rd place. He's in 3rd place. He is moving up. That's right.
Well, no, he's actually good that they're about to pit because they're about to be the end of Series 2 because whatever the fuck it is, 2, because he can pit, that's a good position going into the final, the final 70 after that, after phase 2.
Yeah, after stage 2.
I used
to bet on NASCAR. It's so fun.
If you want to call in, the link's in the chat.
Link is in the chat. I hear Miz was waiting, but I don't see him. Liar. Where's Buko at? Where's all our peoples? They don't want to come in. How about you, Philly B? Why don't you call in?
Philly B not really a sports guy like that. It's my boy.
Well,
he's a car guy.
He's a car.
He's definitely a car guy, though.
Yeah, well, he can tell us about what car he likes, what team. Right now, Martin Truex Jr. is still in 3rd place, 4 laps to go in stage 2. Boom! That's how you play by play, baby. You're getting live on Premium Takes NASCAR 500 Daytona 500, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Getting a little bonus content on the Premium Takes podcast here.
That's right.
NASCAR
listening to us and watching Daytona. That's an afternoon. That's an afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, I need to go turn it on. Hold on. I'll be right back.
That is how you do it. You're sitting there doing taxes, which aren't fun. Listening to us. I hope you have a beverage in your hand, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, your choice. I don't know what your preference is, but be there watching the nice NASCAR, especially if you're in a northern state where it is cold as donkey. There are children listening on this stream. I'm going to stop right there. But you know what I'm saying? And Martin Truex Jr., Toyota car, number 19, is still in 3rd place. When I updated you last, he was in 11th. That's what I'm talking about. Philly B, you are my new favorite fan. Not that I don't like any of the ones in here. You are my new favorite fan.
Wait, real fast, Adam, what channel is it on?
Channel 5.
Oh, like the network.
No, yeah, I was gonna say Channel 5.
Thank you. Channel 5. You don't
even want to know what Channel 5 is down here. I don't even know what Channel 5 is.
It's on channel. I don't know. Check your local listings. You know.
I like it.
But it seems like people don't want to call in. I guess they hate us. I guess we got too much Daniel Jones. Too sensitive a topic for people. And they all left. Well, that's fine. We'll keep talking to ourselves and giving you NASCAR updates, hoping that you call in. Well, not hoping. You don't need to call in. You can just listen to our voices, but we're trying to give you a chance to interact with us. That's right, Rusty Wallace. You stay in 4th place.
Oh, man. But I was talking about, we'll go back to wrestling thing a little bit. What I was talking about with the Impact Wrestling earlier before we got on, Adam, this new group, they're like kind of almost like a Nexus group type
Joey Logando. Oh,
they came from over from like the Ring of Honor or whatever, wrestling some other smaller organization, and they just run rampant through Impact right now. And they had a big match last night where it was like Team Impact against these Renegades or whatever. They're called
second place.
Oh, they're called No Honor or something. But
past Logano.
But Honor No More, that's what they're called. And then so they had this match, big 5-on-5 match, and then one of the absolute staples of Impact Wrestling. I don't know if you're familiar with Eddie Edwards, but
yes,
he pulled a Hulk Hogan on him, man. He just pulled a Hulk Hogan totally on the Impact team and just traded and went with the Renegades, whatever.
So like that with NWO.
Yeah, it's like finish. So they're bringing that. They're bringing that into the mix, and Impact Wrestling is where Mickey James is the women's champion,
James. That's where
You got the
uh,
remember the team in WWE, the women's tag team Iconics in WWE.
yes.
They're called the Inspiration now. They're the women's tag team champions of Impact Wrestling.
Wow. I like them. Well,
Deanna
I really
and,
didn't like them, but
and
they're
then
kind of
so yeah,
weird.
they got
But see, that's the problem, man. Is these wrestling outlets that we have, we're stuck with this mainstream caca that Vince McMahon puts out there. Like I love, Martin Truex Jr. That's right, photo finish. He got the green. But my point is, I am over Roman Reigns. It just doesn't do anything for me as a champion. I like Brock Lesnar, and I wanted Brock Lesnar to win. But now that he's a champion, it's like, why? What's the point? The WrestleMania, don't even have Royal Rumble then if that's what's going to happen. Like to me, what they did right there, basically eliminated everything that you did at the Royal Rumble. I mean, what was the point of having it?
there was no point.
What, you wanted them to have a Bobby Lashley match so Bobby Lashley could get over for beating Brock Lesnar once? I mean, of all the people that could have came out of that title after Bobby Lashley got injured, you give it to the one guy who we already know is going to fight Roman Reigns. You could have given it to Seth Rollins. He could have been a headliner at WrestleMania. You could have given it to AJ Styles, who I believe is a headliner, but they don't use. I mean, this guy came from the Ring of Honor and all these accolades coming in, won the title a couple times, and you're treating this guy like garbage.
Like you said,
Like one of the best guys on the roster.
Finn Balor hasn't been on TV in weeks now at this point.
Oh my God,
since he's
Finn
even
Balor,
been
I
on
feel bad for
TV.
that guy.
And the last time he was, he had to lose he dropped a match to Austin Theory.
Like,
like
really?
I said,
That bum?
I see you're pushing this kid a little bit, but it shouldn't be at the expense of someone like Finn Balor.
Right, who didn't get a fair push. I mean, he lost.
Or at least if you're gonna do it against Finn Balor, do it at a pay-per-view. Build it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that Balor was the Universal Champion, never lost the title. Okay? I feel like that should have been incorporated into a storyline saying, at least let him try to get his title. No, he had a three-way match for the title. Didn't get it, had it on like SmackDown where they pushed it through and he lost to Roman Reigns again, who apparently is unstoppable, unstoppable force. Yeah, right, Roman Reigns. I remember where you couldn't even say more than this is the Shield or something like that. When he only had like one line because they thought he was too dumb to speak. Now all of a sudden he's like, acknowledge me. Yeah, I'll acknowledge you until you acknowledge me that we know that you're Fugazi. Just like your teeth. You're Fugazi. And that's Italian means it's, those Italians, they know what it means.
I know what Fugazi means, bro. I
You know what I
Donnie
mean?
Brasco.
Exactly. My point is like, I love the WWE. I'm gonna follow it because I'm bored and have no other male soap operas to follow. So I'm gonna follow it. Right? AEW's got my favorite guy in it, CM Punk. I always love him, especially because all the pipe bombs he drops. But there's it's the same stale product every week. Like, oh, here's this guy. Damian Priest gets pushed down. He's the United States champion. We have the Shinsuke Nakamura losing to Sami Zayn, who's a freaking annoyance. And what are you going to do?
Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is awesome. So
he's awesome if you like annoying characters.
But you can continue. I was gonna make a point.
I mean, think about it.
It's not about Sami
The
Zayn,
Intercontinental Champions was held by Razor Ramon, by HBK, by a myriad of Hall of Fame guys, Macho Man Randy Savage, a myriad of guys that have won championships, and we've got Sami friggin' Zayn on that list. Sami Zayn. I mean, you got a guy like Kevin Owens who you're not even using. What is the point of having Kevin Owens?
There's a lot of good talent that's being very underutilized. The fact that you not only fire Keith Lee, and now he's he's in AEW, man. I already got a feeling they're going to push him to the moon, man.
Oh yeah,
they're going to launch him to the moon, man. It's just going to be a matter of time. And
that is a race on Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens does have really good promos.
Promo aside, he had one of the best matches with Roman Reigns. I don't know if it was SummerSlam, tables, ladders, and chairs. One of those pay-per-views where he jumped off of scaffolding to do his 450 splash or whatever it was, the senton bomb that Hardy does. And he lost. I'm like, yo, that in any other spot against any other person is a title change. But against Roman Reigns, he was so afraid to do it that he kicks out of that. I'm like, give me a break. I want WrestleMania to be good for one guy and one guy alone, and that's Undertaker. You're bringing in him as a Hall of Famer. The show should be great. Instead, what do I got? I got champion versus champion, which leads me to believe they're going to unify the title, which means probably Brock Lesnar is going to be the title holder, and then Roman Reigns is going to take his 10-year hiatus to go do some movies, and be like The Rock. Because to me, it's like, I don't know, man. Can we talk about water polo? Miz, we put the link in the chat. You're more than welcome to come back on and talk about something else.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You want to hop in, got anything you want to talk about, Miz? You can come on, man.
I don't know anything about water polo, but you can talk about it.
Listen, if you like water polo and that's what people play in your neck of the woods,
we
then
want to
tell
be
us.
educated, Miz. Come on, call in, Miz.
I know you don't like the topic, but it's okay. We're just think of us as
Well, we're
three
just
guys
shooting-
at a lunch
just shooting
table
the shit,
having a
man.
conversation about what we watched yesterday. If you don't like it, you don't need to join our table.
We're just shooting the shit right now, man. Let's wait and give people a chance to call in if they wanted to.
Yeah, if we're not, we're just going to end the show. Give me 3 minutes. I'm on the toilet.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, Miss.
TMI, mother. TMI.
Thank you. For that.
That's
We don't need to hear your bowel movements going on here. Love your table. Right now, you're shitting at our table, so clean that
Did
up.
Alexa Bliss do anything with the Elimination Chamber?
She lost.
How do they make her lose?
Who?
Why can't she just be regular?
Alexa
again?
Bliss. Well, she was the last one to get eliminated.
Well,
She's so
I like
good.
that
Like,
she's
she's
the last
such a
one. I think
good
it's going to be a triple
wrestler.
threat. I think it's going to be a triple threat for the Raw Tag Team title.
Like, that's what I hate. It's like promo. She has good promos and she can wrestle. I bought up Kevin Owens promos because he really does have good promos and plus he can wrestle. AJ Styles, really good promos plus he can wrestle. My favorite, Finn Balor, really good promos plus he can wrestle. But yet they just choose to give it back to the same old people, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Because that's what Vince McMahon likes. He is afraid to lose money on people that may not perform well. I don't know why.
Dude,
they
Alexa
come in
Bliss
every day.
is a dude. If you see
Okay.
a poster with like Finn Balor, Alexa Bliss, and AJ Styles, that sells.
But I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember the exact date, Miz, for WrestleMania. Yeah, it's
April
April
3rd,
something.
2nd and 3rd, the first weekend in April. They're doing a 2-night event. Which, who thought that WrestleMania would be 2 nights? I thought it was going to be once for the pandemic. Now it's just like a gimmick of you watching 8 hours of wrestling in your weekend because you've got to watch night 1, which may not be as good as night 2, or night 2, which may not be as good as night 1. But hey,
Not to mention,
it's wrestling.
they may have an NXT show like on that Friday night or something too,
Right,
or
right.
Thursday
It's
or
going to
Friday
be
night something.
it's going to be 3 nights of wrestling. You're going to have SmackDown. You're going to have Saturday wrestling. Which, hey, listen, let's be honest. Saturday in April might be nice. You might want to be outside barbecuing, not watching a bunch of
Speaking of
wrestlers.
that, speaking of Saturday, the WWE apparently is going to be bringing back Saturday main
Night
event
Live. Oh,
show.
main event.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure all the like times or when it's going to start, but I saw an article about that. Yeah, they're going to be bringing back Saturday main event. So now they're
So
gonna
wait, Saturday main
also-
event did it? What was that? Like I seen it in my universe on the game. It was that like
Back in
was
the day,
that
they
both
used to have-
rosters combined?
Well, they used to have a show back in the day. It was called Saturday Night Main Event. That's why everything was just one thing back then. It wasn't the two separate. There wasn't even a Raw. It wasn't even a Raw or a SmackDown.
Right,
As a
that was
matter of
both
fact.
everybody combined. So like, are they taking away Raw and SmackDown, or they're just adding?
No, I
main
don't, it's just
event?
going to be another show. It's not going to be one of their. It's not going to be as big as Raw or SmackDown.
It's going to
probably
feature
just
some of the
gonna
guys you don't notice, right?
It's probably going to be the guys you don't really see on TV that often. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of those guys.
The
Oh, okay.
NXT people kind of get you into the storyline. Some people they're trying to bring up, like the real thing is Triple H. Like he had NXT. If you watch NXT, it's actually like
It's
wrestling.
Triple
that you
H's
watch.
show, huh? Like he wins that.
Well,
the
he's
thing-
not.
Does
Triple
he
H is
win
no longer.
everything now?
He's no longer a part of WWE, man. Triple H got released.
Really?
I
his
didn't know
duties.
none of
Oh
this.
yeah. He's no longer works for WWE.
Well, is he still married to Stephanie?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't hear anything about that.
Wow, I did not know that. I'm looking that up now.
Yeah, I did not know that too.
That's kind of
Back
sad.
with the facts. Let's get it.
What is happening with Triple H? And
What happened
he
to
just
your
had
guy, bro?
heart surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably told me you can't do it. It's too stressful of a job working for Vince McMahon.
Did he get or
Lashley,
something?
let's see what tattooed eyebrows is doing now. Anyone ever notice his eyebrows are tattooed on his forehead? Bobby Lashley. I'm like, dude, that is hilarious. I mean, he might have a problem, but it's just kind of funny to watch him because I can't take him serious. I'm like, dude, I can't take this guy serious. Would you have no eyebrows, bro? Put the link in the chat so a new guy joint who wants to call in sports. Oh, I read that.
Is this Kevin Kolowski?
Who?
Who's in first place? Is that Kevin? What's his name?
Kevin.
The first place driver on NASCAR.
But
I can't.
What's up, Miz?
The Pennzoil guy right now is on my thing. His name is Kilsawalski. Wow,
That's Kevin, right? I think.
What happened to Truex Jr.? He fell down to 10. What the
He's in
hell?
10th place, yeah. Even Amarola's getting it in above him.
Just got to win every stage. You'd be top 10 every stage. It's not about winning Daytona. It's about winning the league at the end of the year.
Yep, it's placement.
We're waiting for your guy. Miz, you can call in if you're done on the shitter.
Oh, no. Chase Elliott's a really good driver, too. They're showing
Chase
him
Elliott?
I have no idea who these people are you guys are talking about.
These are my friends, okay? Just because they drive cars, do not shun them, okay? It is a sport. They may be small guys. They wear suits that they can sweat in, okay? They may not lift weights.
Black, let me just tell you this. Not to be mean at him, it's super boring. I only got into it because there's nothing to bet on one summer, and then I just started DraftKings NASCAR, and it was just super fun to watch. And from that time, I just see the same drivers.
First off,
You're talking NASCAR. If you're not talking Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt, or Dale Earnhardt Jr.,
all those guys are gone. All of them are gone.
Yeah,
Clean out your mental palate because they're all gone, man. Done. They're out. They're out with the old tires, and they're in with the new cars. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. NASCAR is one of the most watched sports across the land. Why? Because people love it. Not up north because there's no real racetracks up north, but they love it down south. That's why they're in Daytona. Now Daytona,
they here two times a month down in Dover, Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, in Dover, not up in New York or anything like that. That's why us tri-state area people are NASCAR. What are you driving around in a circle for 3 hours?
Can hold like
I will tell you this.
200,000 people. That's crazy, huh?
I worked for News 12 once. News 12, if you're out there,
I can see
big ups to you, right?
Are you a camera guy or were you the reporter?
I was a reporter intern, whatever.
Nice.
Right?
I had to
interview
on the point.
Long story short, I went to a small race car track that had some race car drivers in it, and it was intense. It was loud, it was obnoxious, and you just get caught up in a car going around in circles. It's nuts.
I love it. Look
Somebody
how much people's there.
I mean,
The Geico Restore Zone.
I'd be all about maybe checking it out in person, I guess, at least once in my life. But I just never ever got into the whole NASCAR scene, man. Even though, like I said, it gets lit down there when they have it down there. I don't like driving down that area when NASCAR's in town, man, because it gets crazy.
That's a bucket list for me. Daytona 500 is a bucket list.
The Brickyard. Is that the Brickyard?
That's in Indianapolis, man.
Oh, see.
This is Daytona.
I do know they drink milk after the Indianapolis 500. That much I do know. They drink milk after the Indy 500 for whatever reason. They pour milk all over themselves.
It's tradition. But yeah, that's the drink of choice. I mean, hey, you just want to race, you're making millions of dollars, you're a sponsor, and you get to pour milk on you. I mean, isn't that every person's dream? Nobody wants a Gatorade bath for winning the Super Bowl. We want to pour milk on us for just driving around 500 laps and winning a race.
That's 500. So is that 500 miles?
Yeah,
so it's 500 laps, I think.
500 laps, but is that 500 miles?
I think it's 500 miles.
Oh, and then it's 500 miles, 200.
That's crazy, huh? Like, holy shit.
All right, we're about to bring the Miz in.
Oh, here comes
Miz.
No.
Yo,
Yeah, technical difficulty is good. Lunch is out of your system.
You watching water polo, Miz?
What happened?
I said, you watching water polo?
No,
I know it's a joke. I know it was a joke. That's funny. That's a good one.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on,
What's
Miz? You can
up?
feel free, get whatever thoughts you got out, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
I want to talk about World Cup soccer. Nah. I want to talk about the Giants, of course.
Well, of
Let's
course
get
you
it.
do.
A
I want
little
to step
bit.
up
We
for a
knew
story.
that.
Hold it down, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
We already knew that, but
I know we're running out of things to say because it's but
No,
sorry
I
for
mean,
the
yeah, our
background.
show's coming to an end, but we want to, it's Philly B. Thanks for correcting us. It is 500 miles. I'm sorry, people, for not knowing NASCAR like that, but hey, it's on. It's on. My man Martin Truex Jr. back in 7th place. Let's keep it going. Live updates. Martin Truex Jr. If you haven't noticed, is my driver from the tri-state area. Let's go.
All right.
No, I was get on the Jones thing a little bit. My thing about Jones is
You're bringing
this.
our show back down, huh?
Yes, we're going back to the Jones. That's when your chat was popping at its most. In case you didn't notice.
It
We
was going
noticed.
crazy. It was going a little crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going back to it. But just my thing with Jones is this. Although I always say he hasn't had a real fair chance because forget the evaluation part. We passed that. That he hasn't had a chance to have some winning football between the injuries around him and the receivers and never having a real solid O-line. And I know that Burrow hasn't had a good O-line either, but I think they've had more of a structure than we have. The thing is,
I
let's
want to
be
agree with
honest.
you.
Here's the thing about Jones, Adam. Just the bottom line. He's gonna be here for a year, and it's gonna get them to the 23 draft where they're probably gonna go for their new young quarterback. I think we all know that.
Well, my question becomes, why waste his time? Shop him around, get into a situation, get us some value back for the guy. Because to me, it's like if you're gonna if that's your thought process, and maybe it's the thought process of many Giant fans, I have no idea. But if that's your thought process, and that's the thought process of the Giants, why am I wasting the time? Give me a draft pick for him, 4th round, 5th round pick, and I'll figure it out. And then I can draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, a Ritter, and develop him and be like what Max said, a bridge guy once Trubisky leaves or somebody leaves. Because to me, a true rebuild, I don't want to keep a guy here. That's what they did with Eli Manning. And we had Eli Manning for an extra 2 years. We could have drafted a quarterback. We drafted a quarterback his 2nd year here. Why? Because we knew we needed to draft a quarterback, but their plan was bring him in and learn the system. Well, no one knew that guy would have been fired a year later after the season, so he didn't get to learn that system. My point is that let go, rip the Band-Aid off now instead of waiting next year where we hope that he has a good season, and then it doesn't have a good season, we don't have a good season, and it ends anyways. And we go without a whimper and we get nothing. And the only thing that we can say is, well, he was here 4 years. Daniel Jones, he becomes a blip on the radar screen.
All right. No,
I just don't.
you don't know it. You never know. But actually, they might behind the scenes be talking to some teams. Maybe they don't want to throw out there, oh, we're desperately looking to get rid of Jones because he ain't going to get much for that. But if you make it sound like
That's why they love him.
that you believe in,
Right. That's why they're saying, "Oh, we love him. We want to keep him." That's PR. That's PR for the rest of the league to tell you, "Yeah, we still want him." Somebody said in the podcast, and people really need to listen to some of the Patricia Traina and Jordan Renan and people like that because they get good guests on. And a guest came on and said, Daniel Jones is here, but he's not here because if he's not here for the long-term future, what's the point in keeping him? And I agree. I'm like, well, if you're going to tear it down, just because you have a quarterback doesn't mean you have to play that quarterback. Because you think Brian Dable and Joe Shane want to hitch their wagon to a guy that's already hasn't produced that well in the NFL? Like, think about that. I'm Brian Dable. I'm coming into a new situation. I got to keep the old furniture because we want to give him a fair evaluation on a guy that we've already seen have over, 30-something games he's played in the NFL. If you don't know who Daniel Jones is by now, then you're never going to learn anything new. And keeping him around just because we want to see what it does stunts his growth and maybe hurts his value. Because I'm telling you right now, everybody thinks that this team is just going to do well and they're going to draft an O-line and bring in these new free agents and the line's going to gel without hitting anybody in July. And that's just not the case. It's been not the case for a lot of teams, And when you have a guy who's inconsistent, the defense is new. I can't rely on them. Can I rely on them? No, they have a new coordinator. How can I rely on them?
Yeah, but it's better than I mean, Adam, listen, I don't have to tell you. You already know. The O-line we watched in December, that's not even an NFL caliber line at all.
Right, I'm back. Hey, what's up, Logan?
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm big on drafting some O-linemen, not necessarily to keep Jones forever, just to build an O-line because we're going to have to anyway. So let's start it up.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you there about the O-line. We're going to need O-line regardless. All I'm saying is if I'm going to have a lost year, I'd rather bring in guys that are going to be here in the future than a guy that I still have to wait until the end of the year to even know that he's coming back, right? I have to wait 17 games if Daniel Jones makes it to then evaluate if he's coming back. Like someone said, like Buko said, Anita Marks was like, oh, give him the 5th-year option. Why? What has he proven to me that he has stayed that he deserves a 5th year?
Nah, I'm not giving him no 5th-year option. I'm with you on that.
But
Definitely no 5th-year option. Definitely not. You got to play this year. Most likely he'll be here this year. Most likely it's to get us to the 23 draft. Now, if he somehow has a breakout year, then you reconsider it next offseason.
Well, then let me ask you this, Miz. If we're bringing him in to be a bridge gap, well, why would that be treating Daniel Jones any different? Because that's not the best situation for Daniel Jones to be on a losing team, to be on a team that's not going anywhere. Like that, everyone's like, oh, they're trying to protect him and evaluate him. Well, then why are we evaluating a guy who we deem should be a starter anyways? Go give him to somebody else. Let him be somebody else's problem and not sit here and waste time. And I'm not saying then go out and draft Malik Willis. That's not what I'm saying. Or draft Kenny Pickett. All I'm saying is if you don't believe a guy is going to be in your future, don't waste time with him sitting here.
Well, if you do that, who's the quarterback this year?
Well, there's a free agent named Mitchell Trubisky. You know, why wouldn't he want to come here for a year?
Because at the same time, even though we're not going to be a championship or some big team this year, you can't tell the fan base, oh, we're just throwing the season away before it started because, it's still a business. They still got to have fans come to the building.
Right, but everybody knew that when they signed Joe Shane and Brian Dable that they weren't getting a 100% season. You were getting a season of rebuild. So we know by luck, if they luck their way into the playoffs and win 9 games or 10 games or whatever, fine. Then you're bringing everybody back. But we, as Giant fans, let me ask the rest of the panel: how many of you guys on here, since there's 5 of you, really believe that this team is going to the playoffs next year? I know someone's going to say 12-5 on that bullshit, but how many people really believe that we're going to be here in the playoffs?
I mean, I can't say that I believe that. After what I saw this year, there's just too much work to do with this football team, and I can't even fathom this team being a playoff team next year. All looking for right now is just seeing improvement and progress moving forward. But I can't put expectations like the playoffs on this football team next year.
I have us winning 3 games.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that bad.
I don't think we're going to be that bad.
Yeah, I don't think that quite that bad either. But also, just one more quick thing about Daniel Jones, real quick. My thing is, honestly, here's my also most fair. I think the best and most fair thing we can do for this kid is to ship him off somewhere else because he needs a change of scenery. I do feel like we're never going to see the best Daniel Jones that we can see here in New York. I think we have absolutely ruined this kid. I mean, no matter what, it's all in his head. He's shell shocked.
Mac, you're hitting the nail on the head right now.
I don't think he'll ever really be able to grow much more here in New York. I think he's been pretty much ruined in New York for right now, man. I think his best case scenario for him personally is to be somewhere else. That's just truly how I feel about him.
I think the Giants saying all the stuff that they did is kind of like, yeah, we screwed him over. We're giving him this fair shake because if that were the case, Joe Judge would still be here. What is happening, I believe, is they know that they need their PR nightmare. Getting rid of him only solidifies the fact that you wasted a 6th overall pick on the guy, right? So they want to keep him here so they can justify that if he does a good season, it's just, see, we don't give up on our players. All I'm trying to say is get rid of him now and give him a chance to find a new team, latch on with a team that's going to give him a better chance to win. Because there's teams out there that like the Redskins and other teams like that, Pittsburgh, who are looking for quarterbacks who are better situations than them. Now, do I think Daniel Jones is going to go to Pittsburgh? No, I don't. But what I think you need to do is really evaluate your future, and you see if you're going to if you think this guy is your part of your future, then in May, you pick up his 5th-year options, and then I'll believe if they do that, then I'll believe that they're keeping Daniel Jones. If they don't do that, then I'm saying get rid of him before draft day or during the season for something.
What right now, a team wants him. What are we getting from him? Honestly,
I don't
Denver
care. A
wants
bucket of
him
balls,
now.
a draft pick. Like the thing is, draft capital is essential nowadays when you're building a team. You need more draft capital. So if someone's willing to give you a 4th-round pick for the guy, then you say, okay, he's your problem. He has 1 year left on his contract. If he does well for, let's say, Pittsburgh, they can extend him. If they don't want you, fine. You know what I mean? Anyone that takes him on now doesn't have to sign him, and they can get their 1-year audition. For us, I just feel like, for me, watching Daniel Jones next season, and if the season tanks, why am I even watching this guy? I need a chance to evaluate. These are game reps being taken away from somebody else who could be here or could be in a system. Now, I'm not saying, you draft Malik Willis. You draft a guy, let's say, to be in your system to be a backup quarterback. Let's say Sam Howell falls to you, right? Now, Sam Howell falls to you in the 3rd round. You pick him because you have an extra 3rd. Daniel Jones does badly. I don't need to see Daniel Jones. See you later. Put in Sam Howell. Let him get some reps. My point is bring in somebody, like Max said, who is either going to push this guy or somebody that you want to develop and see if they can challenge him, like Russell Wilson. Because to me, I can't go in blindly and just say, well, we're going to go in with Daniel Jones and nothing.
The Jets got 2 seconds and a 4th from Darnold.
That's what I was actually going to bring that up. Some of these trades the last couple of years haven't done us any favors in getting trying to get rid of Barkley or Daniel Jones for that matter, because you're looking at what the Cardinals had to give up to get the damn receiver. What the fuck, DeAndre Hopkins? I mean that was not his value.
David Johnson.
Not nearly his value. You know what I mean? But yet these trades are going through now, and teams are getting a lot less for some of these players. So what is Daniel Jones truly worth? I mean, yeah, a little more draft capital, but it won't be. It obviously is not going to be anything like you said. It's not going to be a top.
You gotta do better than a 4, though.
Can you pop in Big Blue Empire Sports question here?
Yeah, you have a question for Adam, but real quick, you can't give up Jones for just a 4. No way, we'll get destroyed.
No, you listen. Jones doesn't warrant a 4. So, Adam, let me ask you a question. So, will you want the Giants to do like the Jets did and trade Sam Darnold and get a quarterback in the draft? Well, Big Blue City Empire Sports. Sorry to mess your name up. If they're going to get a quarterback in 2023, I don't care what happens in 2022. You see what I'm saying? I just want to develop my players, develop my offensive line, get my guys in here, and then if you want, it's up to you. It's dealer's choice at this point to get a quarterback, right? If you want to get Sam Howell or you want to draft Matt Corral in the 2nd round and see what he can do, I'm not opposed to that either, especially with a couple guys like Trubisky and Mariota on the free agency market. I can get a cheap free agent, even like a guy like Andy Dalton if I want. I know people hate him, and have a guy be a bridge quarterback that has no future here. You're trying what the conundrum is with the Giants is what we're doing with Daniel Jones. He's been here 4 years, and we still don't have a definitive answer on if he's going to be here past that 4 years. And then you get into the point of money, right? You have money coming off the books next year. Are you going to want to pay him more money early on? And for me, I feel like right now we're past the point of, okay, let's keep him. Let's just see what we can get for him, move on. And we're going to have a bad season anyways, and just get our young guys, our young line and our young guys ready to go and go out there because we know it's going to be a lost season, right? But now if you deem you're going to compete and it's going to be not a lost season, well then, that to me tells me a whole different story. That means I'm going to keep Daniel Jones in the 5th-year option. But you're at the draft, you have these picks you can move around to get more picks and acquire guys. Like if the Giants trade the 7th pick, still get Karolakis, right? Let's say pick number 15, right? And somebody wants to come up and get Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell. And because of injuries and lack of trust, Carroll drops to us in the 2nd round. We picked up a 2nd round pick, right? So if we pick up the 2nd round pick maybe we take a flyer on a guy like a Corral and again bring him up with a Trubisky and let him develop. And then all of a sudden next year when you get rid of Trubisky, now you have your backup quarterback in Corral, who if he does well, you can trade him because now you got your main guy that you got. I mean, you got to think of the business aspect. Look at Josh Rosen. Right, he got traded. He got drafted in top 10. The next year, they brought in a new coach and they brought in their guy that they wanted, and they said bye bye.
Yeah, that was tough break for Josh Rosen. A tough start of the NFL career. I mean, he hasn't been able to get on track anywhere he's gone either. He's been on like 3 different teams already. Can't get on track anywhere, man.
Yep.
Let's look at Dwayne Haskins, right? You got to evaluate the quarterbacks now and the potential that they want to be. I know everybody who doesn't like Malik Willis, but when you look at Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, all think these guys would be solid second-round picks. So that means they have some developmental issues that they need. Most of these guys have it between the ears and have the talent, arm strength, right? What are we picking on? No pun intended for Kenny Pickett. He has small hands. Okay, great. What if he goes to a dome team? He's never going to play outdoors. Right? Who cares at that point? Malik Willis, the guy runs a 4.3 or a 4.4. He's blowing up the combine. He's going to go in the first round, right? And some coach is going to be like, "I want that guy." Desmond Ridder has all the attributes you want in a quarterback. Some coach is going to be like, "Hey, let's bring him in." And how do I know Mike Kafka and Brian Dable are trying to assemble this offense, and the quarterback that they want is not here, but they're trying to design an offense for a guy that may not be here next year? I don't think that that's good planning. I just don't.
All right, crazy. These quarterbacks in this draft are.
And let's talk about something else that keeps coming up, right? Because we always talk about quarterbacks and O-line. We need defensive players, people. If we have a chance to get a defensive player in this draft, we got to grab them. We can't just be like, "Oh, well, we'll hope and pray." No, if you get a bona fide guy that fits Witten Martindale's system, we need to get him.
I agree with that for sure.
That's facts.
Cannot ignore the defensive side of the football, even though we do have more glaring needs on the offensive side of football. On the offensive side, we do still have to remember we still need an elite Batman pass rusher, so to speak. So that's definitely something we have to definitely consider when our picks come up and who's available on the board.
Maybe Thibodeau falls to 5 if the Jets have their brains in their ass and they let them slip by them somehow, and Thibodeau somehow magically, unbelievably falls to 5, and I hear people saying, "Oh no, I like this guy better than him, and I think that guy's better than him." Let me tell you something, man. I'll tell you right now, and Adam knows what I'm gonna say. People got to stop smoking that hot stuff. This guy's the best pass rusher in the draft. It's not even close, man. I'll tell you right now. And I don't see him even making it to 5. Because if he did, I might fall down off my couch on the floor. And then if we didn't draft him, I might just have the heart attack on the floor. So,
well, here's the beauty of that, though, Miz. All like we were talking a little bit about it earlier with the combine and everything else about to start. People are getting ready to start flying up draft boards, flying back down draft boards, and that's what's going to happen. And especially these quarterbacks. It happens every year without fail. It does not matter. These quarterbacks are not even the top prospects in the draft, yet they're still being picked number 1, number 2 overall and shit like that because teams will do whatever they feel they got to do to get the quarterbacks they need. And one or two of these quarterbacks after this are going to come out of this combine with a much higher draft grade. And it's going to be there's going to be a couple of teams that are going to be way overvaluing a couple of these quarterback prospects coming out of the combine because somebody's going to sit in there with their shorts and t-shirts and is going to have these amazing workout and there's going to be teams that are going to be salivating for them all of a sudden. And that's going to push those Thibodeaus and guys like that back a little bit further than you expect. So you never know. One of them may actually just fall right into our lap. So that's what I look forward to coming out of here. It's another reason why I'm also hoping that we're not going to be on that train of trying to get, worrying about any of these quarterbacks in this draft. We're worrying about more important positions that we need to address right now, currently.
Right. Well, that's the only good thing about having Daniel Jones here is that you don't need to force the quarterback pick if you don't want to, because you have a guy here that you are going to try to work with. That's the only like positive I can say. I also am under the ilk that quarterback is a position, and like Max said earlier in the stream, that if this guy goes down, I don't want Mike Glennon back there. I'd rather have a guy that we're bringing in through the system. I mean, look, they have Davis Webb here. They brought in Jake Fromm. They brought in Mitchell Trubisky, and they had Josh Allen. They had 4 quarterbacks here. Why couldn't one of those quarterbacks be a guy that we want our Jake Fromm? Maybe you draft a guy. They said the quarterback for North Dakota State is rising up boards. Well, let's say the North Dakota State kid decides, he's coming out, and in the 4th round, you pick him just to kind of be a backup quarterback. But as he goes through, he develops, and you never know. Maybe you trade him down the line to a team that needs a quarterback. I mean, these are some of the things you got to think about as going forward. But to bring up the draft and everything, the combine is going to be really a tell. Like they keep telling me Thibodeau's is slipping. I watched that guy's film, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? The guy's an absolute animal, beating up linemen, making tackles in the backfield, coming with thunder, and they're like, oh, he has other interests besides football. Okay, so what? These kids are allowed to have other interests besides football,
People make up stuff, man. You hear all these clickbait crap bullshits every day. There's a new story, man. Oh, this guy doesn't like football. How do you know? What are you inside of him? How do you know he doesn't like? Why is he playing it? He don't like football. Why is he playing football? Let me ask you that question. Why didn't he play tennis or soccer?
First, we had Coming with Thunder, then Are You Inside Him?
I'm just saying, like, think about it. Like, you're like, oh, well, okay, he doesn't like football. Okay, but when I watch the tape, it looks like a guy who's eating other people's lunch. Like, yeah, that guy doesn't like football. I mean, it's not. I think they're worried about Jadeveon Clowney. Remember, Jadeveon Clowney had that huge hit and blew that guy's helmet off his head, and then basically sat the next year because he was like, yeah, I'm the top pick in the draft. I don't need to do anything. This kid at least played last year. I know he got a little banged up here and there, but to me, I look at that guy and I'm like, yo, Wink Martindale is probably like just like salivating. Like, oh my God, let me get my hands on this guy. I take him over a lineman.
Guy, man.
Let them keep.
If we could get one team to take us, sorry, Logan, right after me. If you could get one, if we get lucky enough for one team to take a QB in the top 4 ahead of us, even if it means one team traded out with another team. If one QB can be taken in front of us, man, we are gold. Because to me,
I agree.
2 big guys that we all are thinking about, we'll get at least one of them.
We'll have a chance.
The Jets might take one, and we get the other. Iquanu and Thibodeau. Those are the 2 guys that both New York teams are probably eyeing.
And that's what makes it fun, because New York Jets are in front of us, and we can see what they do. Because I guarantee you what Miz said is right. We're going to pick the guy they don't pick. So if they don't pick Thibodeau, he's coming to us. If they pick Thibodeau, we're taking Iquanu or somebody else of that ilk. It's the number 7 pick to me that's the most intriguing. Like, what are you going to do there? Who's going to try to come up and get a quarterback in front of Atlanta? Because Atlanta needs a quarterback. Whether or not they will pick one, is a different story. And then in the 2nd round, we're at number 4 in the 2nd round. Do we trade down in the 2nd round and acquire more picks? Who knows? I mean, Joe Shane, we know what they did in Buffalo, but we don't know what they're going to do here. And we don't know what they think of the roster, really. We'll find out in a few weeks.
The only thing he says is he values more picks. So you think somewhere in this draft he's trying to trade down for more.
And that's what means trades might happen too. Bradbury, I heard they're trying to trade before they cut.
Well,
Logan, go ahead, Logan.
I was just gonna say, let them keep making up BS so that Thibodeau can fall to us.
That would be great, but that's not how it goes. We can't call the Jets and say, "Listen, don't touch Thibodeau because he's ours." That's not how it goes.
Right.
Screw you. Yeah, but
Dude, I was in the kitchen making food, and then all I hear is like, if Thibodeau falls, I'll fall off my couch and I'll be on the floor. And if the Giants don't draft him, I have a heart attack on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Oh yeah,
that's the truth, man. Because then we would have passed. And it's a different regime, so it's different. I get it. But we would have passed on Parsons and Thibodeau back-to-back years. And then we want to know why we don't have an impact defender.
And then he goes on to be Rookie of the Year. And we're going to be sitting here banging the table like, we should have picked that guy. We were here. Right. We had him at 5. But I just want to shout out Big Blue City, Empire Sports. Breaking news, New York Giants just hired a 2nd female to be assistant coach for the Giants. I don't know if that's true, but if it is.
That is true. That was yesterday. I believe it's an African-American female. I believe.
Yeah, I saw it
yesterday. As an assistant head coach?
Not
Yeah, they
assistant
said it
head
on
coach.
WFAN last
No.
night. They hired a second minority woman, so they have two
Some
women
kind of
coaches now.
assistant to like I don't know, some kind of player personnel type of thing. It's not like
Well,
he's not assistant head coach.
thanks
Director
the
of
Giants
coaching
for being
staff.
very progressive.
Director of coaching staff.
It could have
Yeah,
something
that.
to do with those allegations 2 weeks ago too. They want to show something, but
I don't
No.
think it is. I think
Well,
they're just being the Giants and being a
We'll just
forward-thinking
say
organization.
we'll look at it as another strong hire, regardless. Another.
Oh, there's
potentially
women around the
strong
league
hire,
right now.
including-
Tampa has
I
a
mean,
woman.
Martin
Tampa
Truex
has a
Jr.
woman.
is 20th. Oh, come on, Martin.
The Redskins
Adam,
had
you didn't
that.
see
I
the
mean,
crash?
excuse me, the Commanders. The Commanders have a female coach that's like their running back
Right.
coach or something like that. I believe, as a
Right.
matter of
Well,
fact.
I will be
Tampa
rooting for the New
Tampa has
Jersey
a woman.
Generals in the USFL. So
And she was
It's
the
like-
head coach for the one of the college All Star games. She was the head coach for one of the teams in the college All Star.
Listen,
Dude,
I
the
wouldn't be surprised if
co-owner for Buffalo is a woman. The co-owner for
Yeah.
Buffalo is a woman.
The
and a
owner of the
minority
Saints is women.
She's the only woman owner in the NFL.
Well, you guys
Gail.
want to talk about this
Gail?
real quick? Touch on this because Buka brought up a good point to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Talking about these quarterbacks, Denver, because I feel like these definitely are two teams that are going to be looking for quarterbacks, and there's a couple. I'm pretty sure it's a couple more. That's why I'm saying with this draft, some of these players are going to slide and fall back to you depending on how many how these teams value these quarterbacks. So
right. And so, if that's the case, that's why the Giants should pretend that they want one because that's going to drive the price up. You know, if people are thinking at 5, the Giants are going to go with Malik Willis, regardless of if Thibodeau or Cross is on there. You drive the price up because now someone's got to either trade with you or get ahead of you, right?
absolutely.
And that's why I think Atlanta is also in play because they didn't pick a quarterback. So why wouldn't they want to say, hey, we have Matt Ryan, let's keep Malik Willis on the roster, and then we already have our quarterback going forward, and we don't need to worry about anything else, right? Because they already have it. I mean, I don't. It's logical thinking, especially since our team did it a few years ago with Daniel Jones.
I got a question. You guys will answer, but whatever. Zion, you answer first. We come up at 5, and Thibodeau is there. So he got there somehow, and we're all going nuts. You can imagine all of us right now are standing on our feet and we're biting our goddamn knuckles. And someone calls the Giants with a big trade offer because they want to come up and get that quarterback. What are we doing?
No.
It matters on what we're trading, but I would technically it matters on what they offer, but I would literally take him because you guys just got done talking about him, and I know about him, and I didn't even look up into these draft prospects yet. The fact that I know about him, and his name is. I watched some highlights. You know, it's what we need, man. Leonard Williams needs help.
Yeah.
Help me.
Well, if you talk about Trayvon Walker,
No,
is that the guy
Kayvon
with-
Thibodeau.
just talk about well, the thing is about someone mentioned it. I think it was a hub who said, Karlakis is the guy that they're looking at, and Karlakis reminds me a little bit of Leonard Williams because you need a guy. What you need really is a nose tackle. I don't know if that's going to be Dexter Lawrence or not, but if you can get a nose tackle and then allow somebody to come in and play D tackle, whether that's Austin Johnson or not, then you can free up guys and do more stuff with them. Leonard Williams needs help. I know Authentic said, he only had 6.5 sacks. Well, he only had 6.5 sacks because they don't trust anybody else, and they're double teaming the guy every game, right? I mean, think about it. If Aziz is now on the map, he has 8 sacks. People aren't going to let him sleep. You bring in Thibodeau or let's just say, an Ojobo or a Carolina that people are going to believe is going to get 8 sacks. Well, now that's already opening up your team more. Plus, you get a middle linebacker, hopefully, and some defensive backs. You're going to allow more coverage sacks. Remember, this team, Blake Martindale blitzed 38% of the time last year with the Ravens. We don't have personnel right now to do that. Leonard Williams is one of the guys we need to keep. We need to focus on and get him, one-on-one reps. Because someone said the key to Wink Martindale's system is to get guys one-on-one, right? And someone said you scheme the guys open. Well, if you get enough edge rushers in there, you'll be able to do that because someone's going to have a one-on-one, whether it's Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari, or whatever other edge rusher you bring in here. But if you have that guy already on there in Leonard Williams, it's going to make it a lot easier for a guy like Ojulari, and if they bring in somebody for Wink to scheme up a defense.
Yo, can you imagine Leonard Williams with Aziz, and then you add Thibodeau to the other side, man. Can you imagine that?
Damn.
That'd be a lot to handle.
Yeah, like just
And
right there,
Dexter,
like,
bro. I'm still high on Dexter.
nothing.
Sorry,
Yeah, but I
Z.
like Dexter too. I was just about to name him too. Like nothing against like Williams too, but like Dexter's right there too, and he's shown the ability to play the game of football.
Yeah.
We have
And
Aziz,
Roche.
bro. Exactly. Roche. Like, come on, let's sign me up.
So
You got guys on you got guys on YouTube, you know, they already have Dexter dealt off. I'm like, whoa, let's put the brakes on
honestly,
that.
guys, like I know he's ranked higher, but I don't mind like taking him at 7, trading back and taking him at 12 or something, because I truly believe that Tyler might still be there at 12 or 13 or 14 or 15.
Yeah, a lot of
According
guys
to the-
forgot.
if you
Even me,
believe-
man. I was the biggest guy on Lindenbaum, right? Z, I was crazy about him.
Yeah.
But I've come off of it a little, not because of him. I would still, if we got him,
I would
I'd
love
be very
him, yeah.
happy. But I've been
That's
eyeing
So-
the guy at 7. I've been eyeing Cross, you know, because Cross is the beast.
I like Linderbaum, but somebody told me that he's a scheme type of center. So if you're not running a particular scheme, he's not going to fit your system. So if he is the guy, if we're running a zone scheme and you want a zone center, that's the guy you pick. If you want a power run blocking team, then he's not the guy you pick. So it just is a matter of what your preference is. So if the Giants are running that, do that.
I'm not
I
as high
don't know if I
on
buy
Linderbaum.
that, you know, and that's just like the theory of Thibodeau doesn't really love football. He's just there to hang around. You know, I don't buy these stories. And guys like that are special, I believe they can learn anything, and they're still young.
I'm not as high on Linderbaum as some people, but I do like him.
Well, I'm not saying you have to be high on him. I'm just saying for me to take a center at that high and he's not playing the position that we need him to play, then what's the point of taking him?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. They're probably not taking him at 7. They're probably not. So
Well, I mean, I love the guy too, but at the same time, right now, I mean, I haven't even seen a mock draft where he's been inside like the top 20. So,
Yeah.
be
Right.
honest. So,
We'll see. I mean, he was 290.
like I was
going in.
saying earlier, I didn't get a chance to come on and say this. Just I understand we gotta go 1-1 if we do make 2 picks and we don't trade one back, which I think there is a good chance we might trade one out, which is probably 7. But if we do make 2 picks, whenever you get at 5, the edge rusher, you go Cross at 7. If you get Equano at 5, then you're looking for another edge rusher or Lloyd, the linebacker, at 7. That's probably the most likely scenario.
I like the Lloyd guy.
But what if you had a case where, like I did in my video yesterday, you picked up a free agent like Bosman or Jensen, and now you doubled up in the draft. You went Equano at 5 and Cross at 7. Can you imagine the beast O-line we have?
Yes, you would have a beast O-line, but imagine the defense that can't stop anybody.
I mean,
I'm just
we're not gonna
saying.
be able to build everything in 1 year, you know, Adam. It's
But
probably a
but
two-year
now
thing.
you have a chance to grab one of each in the first round. You still have those first 2 picks. You have 9 picks in the draft. You still have 7 other picks to fill out with offensive linemen. And I think Chris Bucco said in the chat, he sent us a text. If you look at some of the linemen in the Super Bowl, most of them are 2nd and 3rd round picks in the Super Bowl playing for the Rams. So it doesn't mean you have to. I'm not saying don't value the guys, but you have to think of it objectively. Like, we're building both sides. We have a chance to build both sides of the ball and get strong on both sides of the trenches. And we're going to draft 3 linemen just because we want to draft 3 linemen.
well, that's why I brought up how do you approach this off season though earlier. I was talking about free agency and the draft, because how do how do you decide like the positions you want to address through free agency as opposed to the ones you want to focus more on in the draft? You got to have a really clear plan and figure that out.
What's up, Jason? Thanks for being here with us, man. The Houston Texans, he says. I think he's talking to Tudo. I think that's the team,
Martin
a trade.
Truex Jr. is 17. That guy is slipping. Thankfully, I don't have any money on the race, but he's slipping. He needs to get in the top 10. But, we're going to wrap the show up soon because my kids are screaming in the background. But just to be real with you guys, I think don't get off the O-line talk. I don't want people to be discouraged by it. All I'm saying is if you go to a store and they have a sale on one of the premium items you want, and you're just going to be like, oh, I'll get it next time at full price, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Why not get 2-for-1 special where you get the O lineman and the edge rusher, and then you can do whatever you want the rest of the draft.
Right. I hear you, Tudo. I agree with that, man. These kids are football players. If they're not capable of doing different things or changing the form, then what the hell are we really drafting here? You know, like what?
And yeah, not for nothing. The tape just really looks good on Linderbaum, man.
Yes.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you guys, but this is something you need to talk about because this is where I think a lot of people fall short. They just we'll plug in a guy and that's going to be it. You need to have the right offensive line men to run your scheme. Otherwise, you're not. If you have Will Hernandez and he can't pull, and you want your guards to pull, well, guess what? It's great that you pick the guard, but he can't do what you're asking him to do. You got to make sure that the center is going to be doing what you need him to do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't pick him, and I understand where you guys are coming from, but we try to say, well, if he can do this, he can do that. Maybe that's not what he does, and maybe it's going to need a learning curve. And in that learning curve time, he loses confidence because he's human and he's going through it. And he's like, man, this is not as easy as beating some guy from Appalachian State every week. I've got Fletcher Cox breathing down my neck. Can I make this happen?
Well, I got one more question before you run away, Adam. One more question. We'll bring up one more topic. What is more important for us in the middle rounds? Find another running back knowing that we definitely might be trading Barkley, or grab the tight end first since there are a couple of talented tight ends in this draft?
Tight end.
Fantastic question. It depends on what's highest because tight end is a little bit more of a thicker position. So I've heard guys say from podcasts I've listened to, you can get a starter in the 4th round. So if you're dating there and you're sitting there at 3rd and you got a running back that slipped to you, and this guy is going to the 1st round, but for lack of names, let's say Isaiah Spiller's there, right? Don't throw down my throat, Chad. I know he's going higher, but for just this argument, if you got a guy that rates higher than a tight end, you take the running back. And you let him go because you can get one in the 3rd round. Remember, we're probably going to bring in a tight end. We're going to need one, but we don't need to, go high. But it depends. If you get a Trey McBride in the 3rd round, I'm taking Trey McBride, depending on where the running back value is.
Jeremy Ruckert, Isaiah Likely, Jalen Watermeyer.
Like if I can get those guys, it depends on who's there in the 3rd round. It really does. If those guys that Logan mentioned are there, I'm taking one. If not, I'm going to explore running back or possibly linebacker.
Go look at some Jalen Watermeyer tape. That dude's in
post by Slay right there. Good take by Big Slay.
I absolutely agree with that comment too, Slay.
Facts.
It's that's why I'm one of those guys. Like I said, maybe I'm still too old school and too old fashioned, but I don't. The combine, I only put so much stock into that stuff because these guys are just doing. A lot of guys can work out good. A lot of guys can have good workouts and do a lot of good things in shorts and t-shirts, man. I go by what I see on the football field, what they do on Saturdays, or Saturday night, Saturday, whatever. That's what I base my scouting on. I can't go by who runs a 40-yard dash the fastest and who runs a damn cold drill the best. I mean, I get
they should run it. They should run the 40-yard dash in pads. Because that's how you're going to be running 40 yards on the field. Running 40-yard dash to up your time with no pads on. You run a 4.3, great. But then the guy gets on the field and he runs a 4.7. It means nothing to me. Like they said about Jerry Rice. He ran a 4.5. When I watch Jerry Rice's tape, he's running by people.
Right. And on the other side of that, I'm big on something that you hear a lot of crap about. You can't draft this kid because he hit his girlfriend when he was 13, Mika Parsons, or you can't draft this guy because he has problems because he stole a quarter drink from a store when he was 12. I'm big on the opposite of that. You know what? I want to draft that guy. I want the big simple to some of these kids who have some bad attitude. It doesn't mean that they're gonna be a problem in the NFL. If you have the right coaches and mentors, it doesn't. I believe Ahmad Bradshaw was involved with gangs when he was younger, but we took a chance on him in the 7th round, and look what he proved to be, right?
He stole somebody's PlayStation, and we were like, "That's our guy. That's our guy."
Facts, I want that too. I just want dogs on this roster, Miz, and I get it. We don't have a background
Yeah.
on taking really people that has history, but it's not like we're vetting these guys to serve in the FBI or to be an undercover spy in Russia for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real, guys. Like, you
Well,
know,
that's what I'm saying. Like the combine
you're right.
has been glorified, and I think even the creator of the combine said, "What have I done? This is going to blow up and make the NFL like this conglomerate. This not get the right measurables because I need to measure a few things, and the combine doesn't show this. It doesn't show your heart. It doesn't show your desire. It doesn't show what I need. All it shows you is, hey, great, you're healthy. You know, you don't have any injuries that we don't need to worry about, and
What's
of
up,
course,
Philly
like the
Sports?
3-cone drill. It shows explosion. The 40-yard dash is a glorified
We have
race.
a new guy in here. Recognize him. Hey guys, go hit up Mac. Sub up to this guy. He's great. He puts up good streams. He does wrestling, Giants. You know, as we go into baseball season, maybe we'll do some baseball. If there is
you
baseball.
laugh at the wrestling stream. My man got 19,000 views on his wrestling stream. Okay,
I heard.
Let's get it.
so 19,000 views on his wrestling stream. So you can laugh about it all
Well,
you
I know
want.
that there's a lot of people across the country that likes to throw their brother into a table in the backyard. I know. I seen the video.
Exactly. So it may not be a cup of tea, but 19,000 other people were like, "Hey, man, I'll get down with Mac."
We should draft Devontae Wyatt at 36. He smashed a bottle over a fan's head one time and got arrested.
That's
for
beautiful. I'll bring him in. I don't even look at the tape. I'll bring him in.
Those are the kind of guys we're looking for.
We used to have those guys in the 80s. I don't know what happened,
Right.
you know?
Well, we decided to get choir boys, and they don't play good football in the choir. So
Daniel Jones, little Duke boy.
listen, I don't mention that guy's name anymore. I'm sick of talking about that guy.
We had some really good guys that were dogs too. Listen, Tuck, OC, Strahan, these guys were dogs, but they were also really good people. You know, they didn't get into trouble. But sometimes you need that guy, you know, Brandon Jacobs, you know.
But the thing is, like the Giants, we haven't. This is why I'm excited because the third round, the second, third, and fourth round is a new regime looking at this, and I'm hoping more of those guys hit because that's how you build out your team. You know, you need these guys to contribute. Cam Brown, hello, I'm still waiting on you. Carter Coughlin, bye. You know what I mean? Like, there's a guy out here, I forget what his name is, some linebacker that's from South Carolina. I forget what his name is, Brunson. Yeah, TJ Brunson.
No, TJ
What have you
Brunson,
done for me, TJ Brunson, besides take up a roster spot? See you later. Goodbye.
These guys are really, on most teams in the league, these guys we've drafted the last 2 or 3 years are backups.
Not even that. They're not even on the team. They're practice squad players. I mean, look at Davis Webb. Everyone's like, oh, we signed Davis Webb. He's a bum. He's going to be a TA. He's going to be a teacher assistant. That guy is basically going to be in there to help Daniel Jones. But listen, man, this is the answer to the question. Don't get it wrong. And let's see if Daniel Jones can say, okay, 1 + 1 = 2 and not 3. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all Davis Webb is here for. Is he's here to be a teacher's assistant, to help you out, to get through with all what you get through. Hey, look at that. You can get good guys that are dogs rather than my first rounder not get cut in his second year, a la DeAndre Baker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing with Baker is that the kid was an outstanding lockdown corner.
All right,
college.
fellas, I gotta
You
go.
went for the talent, you know?
It's been 3 hours, 15 minutes. I'm gonna head out. You guys have been great.
About to wrap it up. But go ahead, get your point out, man.
Nah, just Baker was a real good talent. So they went for the talent, but he did have problems that I guess they looked past or they didn't look into. So
What's up, Becky?
he got caught in something stupid. What do you want me to tell you? You know?
Yeah, I mean, he got caught up, but yeah, it is. It has been over 3 hours, fellas, and it is
You
about
got a couple
time.
of new guys in here. You got Philly
Wrap
B,
it
you
up.
got a Becky. You know, if you guys want to sub up to Mac, we have these streams usually once a
The
week.
links in the chat.
We have another stream. We have a
Appreciate
couple
that, Philly.
streams, different guys.
Yes, indeed.
So sub up, get on with us. Anybody's invited to come in and talk. We give the mic to anyone. It's not just the same 4 or 5 guys.
Let's
do
get it.
appreciate new people stopping in. Philly Sports Talk Podcast. Becky, nice to see you. Y'all caught us at the end though this time, so maybe next time y'all come catch a little bit more of the show. Appreciate y'all for stopping in though. We about to wrap this up, fellas. It's been great, man. Thanks for joining the panel, and I'll see y'all next time, man. It's MacDaGiantsFan.
I'll see you next time. Martin Truex Jr. is not winning anymore, but we're out.
And this is the Premium Takes Podcast. Next week, coming on whose channel?
I think it's Zion's turn.
I'll be real mine. Yeah.
On Zion's
Zion,
channel.
who's late to the parties, channel tomorrow or next week.
The dunk contest sucks.
Sorry I was
see y'all
late
next
today,
Sunday.
guys, but thank you for
Don't be
holding it
late
down.
next week.
Yeah.
We can't start the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
You're fired if you're late one more time, Zion.
We'll see y'all next week on the Premium Takes Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Doses.
I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at MacDaGiantsFan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.